The following is a live presentation of CBC Sports.
In central Alberta, there's a call to curling on this Sunday afternoon. Whose ship will come to shore with the Tournament of Hearts on the line? If you're the skip who's won the most, who's out there to rock your boat? Maybe a captain who hails from the mighty St. Lawrence. Colleen Jones has been on a steady course all these years, 5 Canadian titles spanning 3 decades. The Nova Scotian has weathered many storms with the help of a steadfast crew. Now in Red Deer, the Blue Nose Bunch set sail for a 4th consecutive win, unheard of. Marie-France Larouche is not listening. She'll hold the tiller for Quebec. She's undaunted. Larouche may not have history on board, but the future is bright. The junior champ of '99. All hands on deck for Quebec and Alberta today. Will it be smooth sailing for Captain Canada? Larouche promises a rough ride, with the Scot on the horizon in Wild Rose country. From the heartland of curling, CBC presents the Canadian Women's Championship, appropriately named the Scott Tournament of Hearts. Red Deer, Alberta, midway between Calgary and Edmonton, the host city for a match which spans generations of the game. At center stage today, 23-year-old Marie-France Larouche of Quebec, who takes on the timeless 5-time Canadian champion Colleen Jones, who wears the maple leaf of Team Canada. The building is the Centrium, packed as one might expect, 6,400 strong, as curling fans from across this great country anticipate a surprise final. And welcome inside the Centrium, center stage, as we said, to the heartland of curling, our championship series on CBC. Here we are at center ice. There are the fans up in the stands all around. They love curling in this country. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Scott Russell. Well, there is a new challenger for Colleen Jones. All the familiar foes have fallen to the wayside. Listen to the crowd here. They're cheering for Colleen and for 23-year-old Marie-France Larouche of Quebec, the 1999 Canadian junior champion, who is trying to derail an unprecedented 4th consecutive crown, which could be delivered by Colleen Jones. You know, Quebec has won only 1 Canadian Women's Championship, 1975, Lee Tobin, so history is not in their side. But Marie-France Larouche is a crowd favorite and has been delivering, but this is a David and Goliath story. Let's take a look at a couple of weeks of great curling here in Red Deer. Round robin play, 9-2 record for the champ. She goes through. Losses to Nova Scotia and Manitoba. Ontario and Quebec were 8-3. Saskatchewan and Manitoba finished 7-4. Needed a tie break, which Manitoba won. In the 1-2 page playoff match, Colleen Jones stole 1 in the 10th to beat Sherry Middaugh and move to the final. Quebec knocked off Lois Fowler of Manitoba in the 3-4 game. That set up a semi for a second chance for Sherry Middaugh as she faced Marie-France Larouche. And there is Sherry Middaugh of Victoria Harbour, Ontario. Last rock in end number 10. She's leading 6-5 and has the hammer. This is the result, however. Yellow and red. Quebec and Ontario very close. Forces a measurement. Marie-France Larouche doesn't want to tie. She lost the measurement to Sherry Middaugh in 2001. Not this time. The yellow stone is closer. We have a 6-6 tie. That forces an extra end in the semifinal. Here is the first shot of Marie-France Larouche in that extra end. This will put pressure on Sherry Middaugh. And remember, Larouche has to steal in order to win this game. There's the knockout, roll to a little cover, and she is shot rock. Now here is the final stone of Sherry Middaugh. She's had trouble getting at that yellow rock. Getting to the shot rock, comes in here, tries to make the angle takeout, but ends up forcing Larouche right to the button, and a celebration, a 7-6 victory by Quebec over Ontario's Sherry Middaugh. There it is, 7-6 the final, and now Quebec, the 23-year-old Marie-France Larouche, goes on to face the 5-time Canadian champion Colleen Jones of Halifax, Nova Scotia. David and Goliath, who knows? Experience certainly on Colleen Jones' side. 44-year-old, she gives away 21 years to Marie-France Larouche. 18 times Colleen Jones has been to the Canadian Championship. Marie-France Larouche is making only her 2nd appearance. Remember, she was the 1999 Canadian junior champion. You know what? Colleen Jones rink is not heavily traveled. They don't play a lot of the big cash spiels. They peak to be at the Scott Tournament of Hearts all year. And Colleen Jones is here once again to try for another Canadian championship, perhaps a 4th consecutive. Can she do it? Let's find out what she has to say. She's standing by with Mark Lee.
Thanks, Scott. Colleen, you're facing a young Quebec team today in its very first Scott final. Your rink, on the other hand, in its 4th consecutive. How do you plan to take advantage of your experience in this game?
Well, I hope we can, for starters, because they're a great young team. They're certainly they've played well here all week, and they're not afraid. And I don't think I think we have to be really careful, and we kind of know about the pressure, the crowd, what it's like to play in a Canadian final. We're hoping we can use that. We're just looking for the same that we've seen from us all week, like steady, consistent, and all there to play.
You've got a chance for an unprecedented 4th consecutive title today. How has your team evolved to stay on top?
We've worked hard, that's for sure. Like we know that the rest of the field is doing a lot to get a little bit better, and we've done all kinds of different things this year to try to get that little bit better, and one of them is just to try a little bit more aggression and when we've got hammer.
Colleen, good curling today.
Thank you.
Now over to Mike Harris with Marie-France Larouche.
Thanks, Mark. I'm here with the Quebec skip, Marie-France, and you've had 2 big wins the last 2 games, securing a Continental Cup spot, Olympic trial spot. How are you feeling coming into today's 3rd big game in a row?
Oh, we are so happy to be here because it's a dream for us to are there. So now here we are, yeah. And we try to do the best.
Well, congratulations on reaching the final. Now, your final round robin game against Colleen wasn't the way you'd like it, but any strategy changes for today?
Yeah, sure. We try to keep the game close the first end. So after we try to make the more rock in play.
Good. Well, we wish you the best today. Hope you have a good game, and we'll throw things right back to Scott Russell.
Thank you, Mike. And here is your partner, Joan McCusker. What about the experience factor, Joan? Certainly generations of curling in Marie-France Larouche and the timeless Colleen Jones.
Well, confidence is everything. Experience at the Scott Tournament of Hearts the last 3 years, all this success has given Colleen Jones a lot of confidence. But it is the lack of success at the Worlds, the experience at the Worlds last year that has changed this Colleen Jones team, changed their strategy when they lost the World Final. And now we've got a confident, good shot making, great strategy, the best Colleen Jones team I have ever seen.
What about Marie-France Larouche? She's young, but she's aggressive too.
She's always played with a lot of rocks in play, so playing the 4-rock rule is no change to her. She's been groomed for this moment, always played as a skip, and she's ready to make the last shot in the Scott Tournament of Hearts final to win.
I know you're looking forward to the match. Don't slip going up to the booth, Joni.
Thanks a lot, Scott.
All right, there's Joan McCusker getting ready to go with Mike Harris and Mark Lee. We're getting ready to go here at the Scott Tournament of Hearts. It's a big matchup between 23-year-old Marie-France Larouche of Quebec, Colleen Jones of Team Canada. We're back to Red Deer in a moment.
The Scott Tournament of Hearts, live on CBC. Brought to you by Scott Paper Limited, supporting women's curling across Canada.
Welcome back to Red Deer. The Centrium, as you might expect, packed to the gudgeon, 6,400 strong. Not a seat in the house for this Scott Tournament of Hearts final between Colleen Jones and Marie-France Larouche. Here we are in the heart of the West. 2 teams from historic capitals of the East. Colleen Jones from Halifax, Nova Scotia, the Marie-France Larouche rink from the Quebec City area. Should be a great matchup between 2 Eastern teams here for the Scott Tournament of Hearts final. Let's go up now to our broadcast team, Mark Lee, Joan McCusker, and Mike Harris.
Thank you, Scott, and good afternoon, everybody. Well, we're missing our leader here today, Don Whitman, who has been to 22 consecutive Scott finals, but the Scott Ironman is sidelined today with a titanium hip. And Don, we know you're watching. We wish you well. Hope to see you back by the Briar.
Take care, buddy.
Now let's talk about Colleen Jones and this Team Canada rink. History could well be in the making today as they go for a 4th consecutive unprecedented situation. Have you ever seen this team play better than they have this week?
No, I haven't. And as I said earlier, they were always good shot makers. Their strategy was questionable. It's always worked for them here at the Scott Tournament of Hearts, but failed for them at Worlds. They took a look at everything. They took a look at sweeping, at renewing themselves, at throwing better. This whole team, the front end, lead Nancy Delahunt, Marianne Arsenault, Kim Kelly, and Colleen Jones, they looked at how they can be better all the way around. They looked at shot making, sweeping, and strategy, and now we not only have a confident Colleen Jones team, we have a team that's hard to beat.
Hey, this is the first Quebec team in a Scott final, in a Canadian final, since 1975. But Marie-France Larouche, despite being young, being part of this new generation, I think she's galvanized by that junior experience.
Well, that one thing in speaking to her coming into this final is that she has been in the national spotlight before and has been able to perform well under pressure, winning a Canadian Junior Championship. And in the Scott in 2001, she had a great week there as well. So look for this team to maybe, they are very young, but they've been very streaky this week. So which team's going to show up? They've saved their best for the end, though. The Page game win and the semifinal win last night, they played very, very well. Going to be a tough game for them today.
Hey, the skips Colleen and Marie-France have been all the attention leading into this final, but might the biggest matchup come from elsewhere?
We think you have to take a look at the thirds. As I said, Kim Kelly, maybe the most underrated on the Colleen Jones team. Always good, always steady. Carol Gagnon has been up and down all week. Take a look at that number head-to-head in the playoffs. Carol Gagnon only playing 39%. But as Mike said earlier, yesterday Carol played 91% and led her team into defeating Sherry Madaw yesterday. So this is the matchup. Can she keep up with Kim Kelly and give Marie-France a chance against Colleen Jones?
Team Canada may be better at every position in terms of shooting percentage, but this is a clutch Quebec team. They are 6-0 at the Scott in one-point games, Scott.
All right, thanks very much, Mark, Mike, and Joan. Take a look at the interior of the Centrium here. Teams getting ready to go, and we're anticipating a great final. Here's the road to the final for Colleen Jones. She was 9-2 in the round robin, lost only to Nova Scotia and Manitoba, and she had a big win over Quebec. And here is Marie-France Larouche. She was 8-3 through the round robin play, had the semifinal victory over Sherry Madaw, and she shook hands against Colleen Jones after 7 ends. That was a big victory for Jones. So the history is on Colleen Jones' side as we get ready to go. Once again, Mark, Joan, and Mike.
Right, Scott, and this is an interesting battle. Experience versus inexperience. A team that has been here 4 years in a row against a team making its first appearance. But Marie-France Larouche, although losing 9-3 to Team Canada in their last game of the round robin, said maybe we were intimidated then, but not this time, as lead Veronique Gregoire puts her first stone into the house.
We certainly have to put into perspective that that last round robin game when these two teams last met was not all that important for Quebec. They had already clinched their playoff spot. It was just a matter of jockeying for position as to what placing they would get in those playoffs.
Action's 9.5, not bad. Chop.
Nancy Delahunt playing the takeout to lie in the forefoot.
Seemed like a push. Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how aggressive Canada is in the opening rounds here, the opening first few ends.
Well, this is true, and I think the longer that Colleen stays defensive, and we talked about her change in strategy, but Quebec team, I anticipate them being quite nervous as they come into this final for the first time, and I think as a kind of a rookie team, you anticipate the longer they can get by more ends in the bank, with keeping the game close is better for them. So look for Colleen to maybe take a little more aggressive stand as we get into the game.
Here's the matchup at lead.
A little more.
Nancy Delahunt, a veteran at 45, against a rookie in Scott competition, Veronique Gregoire.
And Nancy Delahunt leading the stats, the #1 lead in the round robin cumulative stats. And Veronique struggling a little bit with some of her takeouts. Her numbers quite a bit less than Nancy.
Annie Lemay, 26-year-old out of Gatineau, Quebec. 4.5-hour drive from the rest of her teammates in the Quebec City area, which really makes it difficult for her to join them in practice every week. So she often has to practice with her fiancé, Jean-Michel Maynard.
Shot, Annie.
Hit and roll to the edge of the forefoot. Colleen Jones, the most decorated Canadian curlers in championship competition in this country. Her second. Marianne Arsenault.
Marianne has had a great week here at the Scott. Sometimes we'll see a little bit of inconsistent play from Marianne. We've watched her in the Continental Cup and the Canada Cup. This week she has been on her game.
I'd say that was a 9.
And as we compare the
I
seconds
didn't get the time, but
in the playoffs, a lot closer, and this Quebec team has really raised its game in playoff competition.
I said it's a good feeling as a player, saving, you know, you're saving your best for last, and as you come into the playoffs on a roll. And I said they've won 2 very important games, not only for just to win this championship, but also again to secure berths in the Olympic trials for 2006, and their win last night in the semifinal gives them a berth in the Continental Cup next year, which is a great team event, Ryder Cup type format. And you know, this Quebec team's already got a couple of big rewards from this event.
And so at stake in this game, besides the Canadian title itself, berth in the World Championships and that all-important federal funding.
firm, clean.
Canadian champions qualified to be A-carded athletes with Sport Canada, which is a lovely bonus every month to help you train
Good throw, Marianne. I thought
and
the
take
12
the
foot would come
pressure
up
off
more.
of
How much? 9.
the financial worries when you need to take time off work for competition and training.
And that is very important when you consider all of these people curling at the height Canadian competition have day jobs and families and use up most of their holidays just to get to this level. Caro Gagnon, the veteran on this Quebec team at 34. She's only been playing, excuse me, Joni, with women at this level since 1999. Before that, she was a mixed player with Francois Roberge between 92 and 99 in Quebec.
And we'll talk a lot about how the Quebec team has steadied their numbers as the week went on and got stronger and stronger. And many people will ask, well, how does that happen? Some of the reason is that the ice conditions become more consistent. If there's any trouble with the ice of draw times and straight spots, the players will start to figure it out as the week goes on, gets a little bit more consistent, a little bit more reliable. Therefore, their percentages will go up.
Kim Kelly's first stone will hit and stick in the 12-foot as we revisit that head-to-head matchup at thirds. And Caro Gagnon has really raised her game, as we mentioned, in the playoffs, but she has been wildly inconsistent, at low as 30% at one point during the week.
And as high as 91% yesterday in the semifinal.
While the rocks are kind of going up and down the sheet here, it might be a nice opportunity to talk about the ice conditions. We saw on Carol's first thought, they attempt to draw to the button. We're taking ice out into the edge of the 8-foot, which is great. Tremendous amount, 4.5 feet of curl, which as a player allows you to play any type of style you wish. And I think we're in for, if the teams would like to put rocks to play, there's certainly great opportunity to create points with come-arounds and lightweight taps.
And for the first time in Scott competition, they are using the 4-rock free guard zone for the first time since '94, when Canada brought the 3-rock game in. Canadian curling standardizing itself with international competition, and it's old hat for teams that have international experience, like the Colleen Jones rink.
Well, Colleen's had a bit of a monopoly on the international experience in the women's game the last few years. So, but you know, quite a few of the teams have been playing the 4-rock rule in different bonspiels over the past few years. So it's not entirely foreign to many of the teams.
It's not foreign because of all the qualifying processes to get to the Olympic trials. The last 2 Winter Olympics, all the bonspiels and competitions were 4-rock. So most competitive teams have been playing it for some time.
Colleen saying off the top of the broadcast she hopes to use her experience here. But so far, a conservative start to this final.
Well, you wonder how to take advantage of playing the inexperience of this young Quebec team. Is it to put a whole bunch of rocks in play and put some pressure on early? Or is it to play your own game for the first couple of ends? I was curious to see whether they would take some chances in this first end. Maybe they'll wait for the second.
Quebec with 3 sweepers here, and Marie-France Larouche's first stone will make the rings. She says she's learned to play under pressure as a junior, 5 times in a row representing Quebec, winning it once.
C'est comme les autres games parce que je vous l'ai dit tout de suite, je savais que je n'avais pas trop. Marie.
She said in the semifinal there was less pressure on Quebec than on Sherry Mada. And you could see that as the Ontario rink wilted, giving up steals in the 10th and then in the extra end in a 7-6 Quebec upset.
Well, this team has really endeared themselves to the crowd, and I think one of the reasons why they're young, they're the underdog, but also they have a great attitude. You watch them when they miss a big shot, they're not slamming their brooms, they're smiling and they're supporting each other and trying to find a way to make the next shot.
Colleen Jones first stone, and this her 18th Canadian Championship appearance. She'll remove the Quebec stone and lie one.
I didn't get it, but
And head to head, Colleen for sure.
nice throw. Thank you.
Better percentage during the round robin. But again, the trend for Quebec has been to raise their game in playoff competition. As did Colleen at 86% in that 1-2.
And Colleen made several key draws, particularly late in the game, to put some pressure on Sherry Mada in that 1-2 cage game. And again, just proved that she's not going to be handing any games to her competitors late in the week. And Mary France is a nice opportunity here, but she needs to hit and roll into the rings, force Colleen Jones to blank this end.
Nice, c'est bon. Wow. Wow. L'autre côté. Wow, Pink. Wow. 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 Yes, l'autre côté. Yes. Yes.
Trying to hit on the other side, roll into the rings. Pretty tough.
Hey, Marie.
Looks like it's just outside the 12 foot.
Marie. Pense pas qu'on est dedans. Merci. Hey, Marie.
On a roulé de l'autre côté.
Ben oui, c'est ça, c'est beau. Mais je pensais qu'on roulerait.
And the pause and play is Marianne Arsenault has been asked to be the eyes on the team. Come check if it's off the rings or not.
Very off.
It's very off. It's not just off, it's very off. Every team has the one person that they trust with the eyes.
Yeah, it's more than just off, yeah. And we had a measure there with Sherry Mada, and
But important not just to ignore that rock.
Well, if there's any question at all, she'd be hitting it,
roll
that's for
onto the
sure.
rings. No need to do that.
The perfect hit and roll. When you're trying your blank, you may just hit it just perfectly to get on the rings.
Colleen Jones with the last rock of end number 1.
Easy blank.
And she will throw her stone through the house to blank end number 1. So the Scott final with a tentative start and no score as we head to the second end.
It's the 10th anniversary of the Ford Hotshots competition at the Scott Tournament of Hearts. Top prize, a 2005 Ford Escape. The runner-up takes home an RCA television set. It's all about pinpoint accuracy. And to win, you have to play all 6 shots. Everything from the hit and stick to the double takeout. The maximum you can yield is 5 points per shot. The final 4 competitors feature 2 seconds, Andrea Laws of Ontario and Lainey Peters of Nova Scotia, as well as 2 leads, New Brunswick's Judy Blanchard and Alberta's Stephanie Marchand. Andrea Laws of Ontario, now a part of Sherry Mada's rink, won a Canadian championship with Allison Goring in 1990, looking to hit the button with the raise, but she slips a little beyond and scores 4 points. Meantime, lead Stephanie Marchand of Alberta is part of Shannon Kleibrink's foursome out of Calgary. She looks for the roll to the pin. It's only perfect and 5 full points for Marchand of Alberta. And so Marchand and Laws meet in the Ford Hotshots final at the Scott. We're back to the Centrium in Red Deer, and of course the house is rocking. Quebec and Team Canada now go to end number 2. Colleen Jones blanked the first end. 0-0 between these two teams in the final. Back up to the booth, Mark, Joan, and Mike.
Thank you, Scott. And they've been sold out here at the Centrium since the playoffs began, and tremendous crowds all week here in Red Deer for this 2004 Scott Tournament of Hearts. Team Canada holding on to the hammer after blanking end number 1. Still waiting for these teams to engage here.
The crowd here has been so treated to some great games over the weekend, with the 1 versus 2 game, 3 versus 4, and the semifinal yesterday, all gut-wrenching. Who knows who's going to win these games? Just treated to some terrific shot making and great momentum swings. Everything that you want as a curling fan.
Yeah, 3s here, 4s there, wild swings and scores. That 1-2 playoff was a basketball game. Nancy Delahunt, the 45-year-old mother of 2.
Yep, for the roll.
And winner of 4 titles in 5 years with this team from Halifax.
Hurry!
And the travel coordinator for this team. And speak of travel, when they won it last year, Scott gave them a trip anywhere in the world, and Nancy's been the only one to take advantage of her holiday already. She's been to Paris and Portugal, but the other 3 are still to go this summer. Marianne Arsenault will go to Dominican Republic for a spa with her daughter Lauren. Kim Kelly will head to Hawaii in June, and Colleen off to Italy in July.
Pretty nice perks for winning the Scott, and all full credit to Scott Paper for providing those trips to Colleen and her team.
The traditional gift for winning a Canadian Scott Tournament of Hearts is a ring with a diamond in it. The second time that you win the Canadians, you'll get a ring with a bigger diamond in it. The third time, you'll get a Rolex watch. And with this team winning so many times, Scott Paper came up with this fantastic prize, which was a trip anywhere in the world that they and their families wanted to go. Well, that's the part that I thought was fantastic. Take your family, they sacrifice with you, and go on a family holiday.
And the people at Scott have already given away 677 diamonds to its curling champions, roughly about $750,000. And there you can see some of the baubles of Colleen's championships over the years.
That's the Rolex watch. Some of the other gifts that we've been given over the years: for a provincial championship, you'll get a necklace with a heart pendant, and every time that you win the province, you'll add a diamond to that pendant. So that's where you get the numbers of diamonds, is when people repeat as provincial champions. When the necklace gets filled up, you get a bracelet, and they fill the bracelet with the diamonds as well.
Like winning a Grey Cup ring or a Super Bowl ring.
Yes, certainly.
Team Canada second, Marianne Arsenault, massage therapist at Advanced Wellness Center in Halifax. And she asked us to say hello to young Lauren, her 6-year-old daughter, who's watching back home this afternoon.
Stop.
Well, we've had a couple of cheers of boarding from the crowd, and this just, again, talk about the strategy changes, and Colleen's still not taking that initiative to throw out the corner guard. And again, Quebec's got to be happy as it's calming the nerves as the ends go by. But I think both teams are going to have to, as if I was Team Quebec, I think get into the third end and say, do you dare to throw a guard and force Colleen to make a move?
So they continue to play takeout curling here. Colleen talking this week about her team's change in strategy.
Yes.
After losing the final to the United States in the World Championships 1 year ago in Winnipeg, becoming a more aggressive team, realizing they had to change if they wanted to stay on top. We haven't seen much of that yet here in this final.
But we have to realize that this is a final, and in the Scott Tournament of Hearts, second place gets very little. All the prizes go to first. When we have the round robin game and the 1 versus 2 game, you have something to fall back on. If you don't win that game, there's still other games to come. This is it. The teams become a little tighter, a little bit more defensive. I'm not all that shocked to see the first 2 ends being played wide open. I would be more surprised if we see this continue on past this end.
And Caro Gagnon will remove the Team Canada stone. Colleen Jones asks Kim Kelly for a takeout, the 41-year-old pharmacist from the QE2 Health Center in Halifax, veteran of 27 years.
Good.
Curling, 7-time provincial and 4-time Scott champion. not to mention a world champion.
And a mom. She's 2 kids. Brett is 12 and Madison is 9.
She was joking the other day that when they were here in advance of that storm of the century in Halifax, where they got something like 95 centimeters of snow, her husband Mike called to say that Brett was walking down the driveway and he had to yell and tell him, "What are you doing?" He was walking right over top of Kim's car. It was buried
in the snow. That tells you how much snow they got.
Wonder if you left footprints on the hood.
Whoa. Stop. Okay, Caro. Es-tu dedans? Non.
And that Quebec stone looks like it's just outside the rings.
C'était parti, ça, mon ami. Sorry.
And there's a slight response by the crowd.
Some approval,
some approval for the shot call, the draw around the very, very tight guard.
Line's great. Lots of line.
This is a choice. Colleen Jones could walk up and hit that corner guard and roll into the rings.
Especially this late in the end, you know, if you ever happen to make a mistake and rub this guard into the house, I mean, it's so tight. You know, it's a fairly significant risk, especially coming from Colleen. But said this is a conscious decision the team has made over the summer to change their tactics.
Kim Kelly's stone is wide open.
Marie-France looking to hit and roll away from that. The indication was hit and roll away from her own corner guard.
Marie-France was in tears after that 9-3 loss to Team Canada at the end of the round robin. The team came out flat,
Let's go, Marie.
but they appear to have regained their composure here in the playoffs.
And how, I mean, they played so well in the both the 3-4 page game and again the semifinal last night. Although, you know, if anyone who watched that semifinal know that they are a little fortunate to be here and benefited from a couple of misses from Sherry Madaw. But they still did everything they needed to do to put the pressure on.
Larouche's shot. Hit and roll.
No, I think I prefer that roll actually. This is puts in a little bit of a tricky spot for Colleen to deal with.
Beau Marie, bien lancé. Ben moi j'ai pas trouvé.
Colleen would like to make sure she hits and stays here. Otherwise, Marie-France will have an opportunity to split that tight guard and perhaps lay 2 or even maybe tap it back.
She
force Colleen to score a point. Colleen looking to hit and roll away.
This is great ice for that shot.
Hit and roll.
Yep.
Colleen with her ritual before every shot, having a drink of water, cleaning the stone, and wearing that sneaker with the gaffer tape. She says she's had that for at least a decade. Good luck sneaker. A weather and sports announcer from CBC News World. And the most decorated Canadian woman, 5 Scott titles.
Just needs to curl to stay around.
Good. Okay.
And she will roll out.
Okay.
Just
That's a good
nice
draw.
draw.
Just straight on that side.
Ça se split-tu un peu, Marie?
Ben, peut-être, oui.
Ben, un ou l'autre, c'est bon, moi je dis.
Ouais, mais je vais essayer de venir là.
OK.
Je pense que c'est plus facile.
C'est plus facile?
Ben, en tout cas,
OK.
j'en prendrai pas trop large. Au
OK.
pire, on en fera ça.
OK, let's go. Non, ben, anyway, c'est pas le même weight, Marie-France. Fait que joue droit, puis...
Ouais, mais sensiblement, là,
OK.
c'est
Initially looked at playing the come around
OK.
into this spot, but after discussing with their teammates, they're looking now to tap this stone straight back into the edge of the 8 foot. And he said if the stone doesn't curl enough, they could perhaps split those stone in and lie 2 and force Colleen to take a point that way. But
On voit, là...
OK. Let's go.
Ben, mais mieux qu'on fasse le...
Non, vas-y, Marie.
Non, c'est correct, ça, moi, je
Oui.
trouve.
Let's go, Marie.
Si on passe, vous l'amenez loin pour...
OK. Oui. That's what I should.
Marie-France Larouche with her final stone. Here in the second, attempting to dictate the terms early in this match.
Yeah, yes. Yes, Riart. Yeah, yes.
Is it heavy enough? 3 sweepers on it hard. And she's going to be all over her guard.
wants to split.
And they're both in the ring. Both on the edge of the 12-foot.
A good brush by the front end there. They knew right out of her hand that she didn't have enough weight for either of the shots.
That was almost a little bit of a plan B, but certainly does the trick. And again, the goal for Quebec here was just to force Team Canada into taking a single point. And,
Ça aurait été quoi dans le 8 pieds?
Ouais.
Peut-être même pas, tu sais.
and the best they could have done was get that into the edge of the 8 foot. That was the discussion. So, you know, drawing against 2 or drawing against 1 on the edge of the 8, I think Colleen is same type of pressure, but certainly, again, a simple shot, but very important here in the first end.
For 2?
Yeah.
Second end, rather.
And as we talked about before, anytime that you can force the favored team, the team with hammer, to take 1 point as their first score, that is a small victory.
Colleen Jones with last rock here in the second end.
Easy.
Attempting to
Pretty
draw
good.
for 1.
Watch your slide pass. Yep.
Just full stop is all you need.
Yep.
You're good. We're all
Yep.
there.
I want to see where 4 foot is. Yep. I think it's 4 foot.
And she's right on target. Jones to the 4 foot for 1 here in the second end as Team Canada scores first. Quebec has the hammer when we come back for end number 3.
We're back to a packed Centrium in Red Deer, Alberta, going to end number 3 of the Scott Tournament of Hearts final between Canada and Quebec. Right now, Canada and Colleen Jones, a 1-0 lead. Pleased to be joined here in Red Deer by John McClelland of Scott Paper Limited, and you're announcing that Scott is renewing its commitment to the championship through 2010 in the Olympic Games, and that's got to be a great honor for you as a company. And how have you seen this championship grow since 1982?
Scott, I think the best way for me to provide some perspective on that is to compare the attendance. 1982 in Regina, first Scott Tournament of Hearts, less than 13,000 fans attended the event. This year, we're pleased to announce that we will exceed 113,000 fans in the seats.
Fantastic, but it goes beyond just the championship level. What about the commitment that your company makes to the game in general?
Well, I think that we have been thrilled to see the sport continue to grow in prominence. Certainly 1988 becoming an Olympic demonstration support took us to another level, followed yet by 1998 when we became full-fledged. And of course, all of us as Canadians are looking forward to Whistler in 2010.
Fantastic. It's good to see young skips as well as Mary-France Larouche, as well as the veterans as Colleen Jones in the game too, isn't it?
Certainly another area which the sport has really grown.
John, congratulations to Scott and to curling in general for your support.
Thank you very much, Scott.
John McClelland of Scott Paper Limited, back up to the booth. Mark, Mike, and Joan.
Yes, great news for women's curling. And this has become one of the classiest national championships in this country.
If not the premier sport for women. And any of us that have ever had the privilege of playing in a Scott Tournament of Hearts know that it is your week to be treated like a queen.
Now, word from the announcement yesterday is that after 2007, the word Scott will likely be phased out in favor of a title Tournament of Hearts presented by Kruger, which is the parent company. What do you think of that?
Well, I guess that's their corporate decision, and
I think
we think it's just fine.
I think whatever they would like would be okay with me. Now let's get back to our game here. It's been a great call, one that I anticipated Quebec throwing or calling for the corner guard.
Yeah, and she of course was hoping, pleading for that rock to stop, and mistakenly slid into the rings.
Veronique Gregoire, a rookie at the Scott. And she's had a busy week. She has exams in mathematics, first-year student at Laval University. As soon as she gets back, and she told us the other day she's been spending 3 to 5 hours a day studying while here at the Scott. Yes, just like you, Joan.
I've been studying. What is the question? This is her first year in women's play. She was a junior champion as well out of Quebec. She was a skip, has moved on to play lead for women's, and a nice start in the women's field to get to the Scott final with Marie-France.
Nice for the bump.
Weight's good, or line's good.
Still got room.
And this is a very aggressive player from Colleen Jones. She's electing to play a tap back, and
Coming down a
with
little.
the Quebec stone only inches from
inches
from the rings. Just needs to curl.
And to slow down.
Oh,
All right, Marianne.
weighty.
Nice weight.
Même si on est capable de rester plus long. OK.
OK.
Just looking for a hit and stay.
Vas-y, light encore, Annie.
OK.
Annie LeMay in administration with CRD physiotherapy and rehabilitation, but she tells us she'll be starting a new job when she returns home.
Clean.
Bowater Pulp and Paper
Light.
in a clerical position.
Clean.
Annie LeMay used to play with Janique Berthelot as well, has made Scott appearances with her.
Nice shot, Annie.
Nice shot, Annie. Regular. No. Clean. Whoa.
Colleen looking for a hit and roll back to the center line
Anything?
from Marianne Arsenault.
Good.
Although she didn't roll all the way to the center line, she did stick in what we call the control zone, which is this imaginary line up from the 4 foot right in front of the house, an area that both teams will fight to control so that they're able to bump them back later on in the end.
Light encore?
Oui, light. Oui.
And we talked about the youth of Marie-France Larouche, but you know, when watching her throughout the week, she calls a very sound game and said is very well coached. So we've seen it in juniors play through the last few years that the teams coming out of that Quebec City area, so they have a very good coaching program, solid foundation, and tend to produce very good players. Like to hit and stay there.
Psychologically very strong when you consider they're having to go through the teams that beat them the worst in the round robin. Ontario beat them 8-1, and they come back and beat them 7-6 in an extra end in the semifinal. And of course, Team Canada beat them 9-3 in the round robin.
There's two ways to look at that. You could come into a game against a team that has beaten you that badly, full of fear that they're going to do that to you again. Or you can approach it with, we have nothing to lose. We've already seen this team. We've seen what the worst can be. And
Had to wave harder.
they can come in here with no fear at all.
Colleen telling Marie-France she has to wave a little harder to get that stone to go where she wants it.
Those
Team
wings,
Canada
those stubborn things. isn't
lying
it?
2. Both at the edge of the 12-foot.
And the call here is for a freeze by Caro Gagnon.
34-year-old administrator with Dubo Capital,
OK, la ligne est large un peu.
who thanks her boss for the time
Faudrait
off
que
to
ça
be here
curve.
this week and
Ouais, faudrait
says
que ça curve. Ah, il va, ah, il va.
she's
va.
making her
il va
boss
pas
a
bien,
curling
bien.
fan.
Il va
Ah, il
pas.
va, il va. Back 12.
Wow.
Back 8, c'est très bon, hein.
Wow. C'est ça, elle est belle.
OK, non, non.
Wow.
Non, 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 non. Yep,
Yep, yep, yep, yep, yep, yep.
Un shot, Caro.
Looking for that rock, come right to the back 8 foot. It wasn't curling enough to really take it back for a freeze. But
Actually had pretty close weight if the sweepers were allowed to sweep it. But because the line was nowhere near, they left it high.
Yep. Hard. Hard. Hard.
this is very close to over curling.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. Hard. All the way, all the way. Get out.
Just
Kelly.
spins out of the rings.
Removes her stone and the Quebec marker.
Yeah, just a little anxious moment there for Kim Kelly.
Une bit de moins. Même
Go out.
I think so.
Looking for the same weight. Caro is speaking with the sweepers, just confirming in her mind what weight she needs to throw here for the freeze.
Ne plus. Contact.
A little more weight there indicated.
Wow, c'est large.
Ouais, juste back
The
4.
sweepers do use the split timing, using a stopwatch, starting the watch at the back line and stopping at the first hot line.
Line's great. Yeah, over curling. Whoa.
That rock really
Oh.
finished hard.
This is going to miss.
Not a bad spot though. He said if you look, Colleen's got to be careful not to nose hit this red stone.
Ou elle arrêtait de tourner, ou elle a pogné un flat spot.
Ouais, je sais pas.
C'est un ou l'autre, hein?
Colleen happens to end up nose hitting this stone. It'll leave a nice pocket for Mary France on her next one to come down and play a freeze. So Colleen Jones looking to hit and roll away.
Bounce it over Marianne's way.
Over curl?
Over curl, yeah.
So that even if she does roll away, Marie-France will play the same freeze again, just to be less backing. It has to be more accurate.
Colleen going to the out turn here. This is her favorite turn, if we noticed over the years. Many teams would play the hit and roll the other turn.
We don't want to stay right there, though. I know.
Okay.
And there's a little mistake from Colleen, giving Mary France a great opportunity here to make a nice freeze.
Pretty tough spot.
What's that?
Pretty tough spot.
C'est le même
curl.
mot que moi.
Yeah.
Tough over curl.
Let's go where?
We were talking about the tough spot because even when we saw Carol Gagnon, her first freeze attempt did not curl enough. The second one over curled. So it's a spot that seems to be a ridge where sometimes it's curling, sometimes it's not, and you need perfect weight.
Ben, on avait deux brosses dans les airs aussi. On peut-être pogné un flat spot. Là. Tu sais, fait qu'on va cligner tout le temps.
Qu'on savait qu'on la tapait.
Okay.
They thought that rock might have picked their last one, so they're talking about they're going to clean it the whole way down the sheet this time.
Mary France Larouche is a phys ed teacher in the Quebec City area and battle tested at the junior level in her first Scott final at the women's level.
Non, non, c'est encore large.
Her first stone here
Encore large.
in the third inning.
Encore large.
Needs to finish a little.
Curl, curl. Nice shot.
Oh, beauty. Nice shot. Unremovable.
Welding herself to the two Team Canada stones.
And we talk about you couldn't have carried it down and put it in a better spot than where this Quebec stone ended up.
Plus où elle pognait un flat spot. C'est beau, Marie-France. C'était important que tu sois shot, là. Hein?
Looking for a freeze here. Colleen may want to think about moving this stone out the back door here, because when Colleen does make this freeze with that red stone still frozen in the pocket, Mary France will be able to throw significant weight at it without any risk of her stone spilling out of the forefoot.
Yeah, but
so
I can throw B there. Yeah,
the angle is very
you know,
important.
I don't want to bounce off her, but I can certainly hit that square of the nose. Yeah. What'd she just throw?
She threw a 3-6, but we get whack times on there, so they must pull them back.
Alrighty. So 4-2.
4-2.
Talking about split times, 4.2 seconds for Colleen versus 3.6 for Mary France. So just this style of release and
Mine's gonna be fine. Make sure you're
many
here.
things can affect the
Make
split
sure
time,
you're
including
here.
the speed of your
Mine's
slider
all
and
right.
the equipment you're using. But
Right up. Whoa, right up. Yep, hard on it. Right up, hard. Never leave
Good
it,
looking
never
shot.
Leave it, never leave it, never
Colleen
leave it.
Jones
Hard.
looking to freeze
over
to
curling.
her own off the Quebec rock.
looks like a nose hit opportunity here for 2 points for Mary France.
She was hoping to hold Quebec to just one.
Tu as bien raison, Marie-France. C'est la même chose que... On tirait light comme ça? Light, tu penses-tu que c'est assez?
Non, non, normalement ici.
Normalement, OK.
Oui, oui, oui.
OK.
Elle curl quand même sur le bord de la ligne.
Talking about the weight, whether to throw lightweight or normal. She's going to throw normal at least just to make sure that yellow rock spins out of play.
If you take a look, it's basically a nose hit. And this will spill this one, and this red stone is just going to jam on that one back there, and there'll be 2 points for Quebec.
Well, just a nose hit. It looks like a difficult shot, but it's simply a nose hit.
It's just an open takeout in her mind.
Last rock for Mary France Larouche, and she's not happy just as it left her hand. Very wide.
A big push off the release.
Needs a curl for a piece.
Oh no.
One yellow.
Big miss.
Big miss for Quebec. And a steal of one for Team Canada.
This rock just goes directly onto that stone at the back forefoot and doesn't have enough weight to spin it out.
So the first chink in Quebec's armor as Marie-France Larouche gives up a steal of one.
Okay, let's go, Marie.
When it comes to the Brier, it's all about the championship. For the champ, it's Randy Furby's focus. A maritime moment last year in Halifax for the skip from the Alberta powerhouse, a perfect throw. A three-peat to claim the crown and hoist a little history. A definite dynasty in the roaring game. In Saskatoon, Randy Furby will fight to make it 4 in a row. CBC's got the semifinal Saturday, March 13th, and the final on Sunday in prime time from Sask Place and the heartland of the sport.
Yes, and we wish our partner Mike Harris all the best, skipping Ontario in the Brier, and we'd like to tell his teammates back home that he got into practice yesterday.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
We were going to take pictures, actually, too, just to prove it.
Yeah, that Randy Furby team is pretty good. I've had a front row seat for the last 3 years watching them, so I know it'll be tough going, but we're really looking forward to the week in Saskatoon.
Veronique Gregoire with a pretty solid start through 3 ends, curling 96%, but it's still very early.
C'est très proche. Hein?
C'est 4.
Non.
Using the Randy Furby system there, he's saying this is a 4, which is top 12, which you're looking for a guard.
Now the mental game for Quebec is to rebound from that tremendous opportunity to get 2, where they gave up a steal, a 3-point swing with 1 shot. Now they got to dig down deep and set up their deuce again and get back in the game.
Whoa. Top 12.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Top 12.
We're 8.
Okay.
Or 4. Good shot. No, just 8. Good shot.
And that's a better shot for Nancy Delahunt. Her first one slipping behind the tee line only helps Quebec out, gives them more opportunities to create offense and freeze rocks too.
Back 8, back 12 au moins.
Back 8.
Back 8.
C'est vrai que ça fudge pas mal, ouais. Back 8, back 12.
Electronic hogline sensors are being used for the first time in competition this year. And it's the biggest innovation in curling since brushes. It takes the human error out of the game.
Yes, yes, yes!
You see those new chrome handles where once the curler breaks contact, the sensor right at the hog line can't be connected. And there haven't been any hog line violations this year at the Scott.
Nice shot. Rolling in behind the corner, very nice. And
Mike, you had a chance to play with those rocks in practice. What are they like?
They're very
yes, it is.
importantly for the players. You don't even notice they're there really. There's no feel difference to the players in the handles, and other than the lights flashing after you release the stone, you wouldn't know you're throwing anything different, which is a great feature. And they've been very well received by all players. We saw them at the Canada Cup and also at the Canadian Junior Championships, and universally approved by all competitors.
I think the challenge is on, as you said, Mark. There were no hogline violations at the Scott, and so I guess, those male players at the Brier need to live up to the challenge of no red lights flashing.
Well, it took 5 years of research and development to get this system set, and Neil Houston, the CCA manager of Championship Services, was very involved in that, as he was in the advent of the brushes. World Curling Federation has already purchased 10 sheets worth of these electronic hogline sensor equipped stones, and they figure the whole system will pay for itself within 5 years.
Looking for a freeze here. Marie-France saying she'd like at least an 8, which means back 4 foot, back 8 foot.
Okay, whoa. Okay.
Good shot.
Pretty good shot, and the nice thing for Quebec, even though they're over curled, there's no way that Team Canada can play a double takeout on those 2 red stones. So they'll continue to be able to apply some pressure to Colleen here in the fourth end. As I said, very important for Quebec to come back with a strong end here, I think, Joan, after giving up a big opportunity last end to score 2.
And they've got their miss out of Team Canada. They've got the rack on the guard that gives them the opportunity to set up the deuce.
Second miss. 2 misses now in this end, and this is a great opportunity now for Quebec.
Quebec still lies 1.
But the nice thing for Quebec is there's the drawing to have a third one in the rings.
À peu près. Ouais, OK.
I think the call from Marie France is the little tap on the third shot stone, the top red stone. Her other choice is to go to the other side, to freeze onto the other red stone and leave the tap till later in the end.
It's always scary in these situations when you're bumping your own stones. You always inevitably leave doubles quite often. So you have to be very careful where the angle is upon contact.
This has got a lot of weight. A lot of weight.
Pretty good shot, though. Great.
Well done. Beautiful shot. Hit and roll.
Couldn't have been better.
3.
It turned out lovely.
You watch where the shooter rolls to, too. I think it rolls right over to the center line. And with the yellow stone in the back left portion of the house here, as it looks back 8 foot, Colleen's going to have a hard time playing a double.
So this young Quebec rink showing composure, coming back after giving up that steal in 3. And they lie 3.
I just want to, you can't afford to bounce too far, Kim, or you'll do that.
Actually, we've got lots of room.
What?
It to me, Kim.
Okay. And I don't want to do this and jam here.
Right.
So we just have to try to set up.
Okay.
It's a good exchange. We're just trying to set up. Nothing. We're not looking for doubles. We want to hit shot stone, and they're going to wait to see what Quebec does with their shot stone after this one is delivered.
And there may be a better opportunity to play a double. Right now, there's no real good setup for Team Canada. This is really hurling hard.
Hit and roll and freeze up next to the Quebec stone, and it looks like Canada is now 1.
Got away with it.
I mean, no.
Almost over curled and jammed that stone.
Même moins que toi, à peu près, Annie.
Same weight.
Ça fait juste freeze, là. Ouais, j'aime mieux freeze parce que ça fait ça, elle va juste avoir à faire le double, là.
Okay.
Freeze.
Looking for the freeze tap, I do believe, Mike. If freeze is first call, if anything, you can tap it a little bit on the right angle.
Interesting in that this game has seen few guards in front of the house. It's all been played in the rings.
Although we saw Quebec initiate this end with a corner guard, and this is yeah, and you're going to see as if there's a 2-point deficit, the team that's trailing will always need to throw some guards up front to start the end. But the reason plays in the rings now is because they've had an opportunity to bring several of their own stones in.
Bump back the Team Canada stone. Quebec to lie 2.
But again, the danger is she's left with the stones grouped so tightly together. There's a great opportunity for a double here for Kim Kelly. It's pretty hard not to make a double here, actually. If it happens to get curled to the nose, she should make the double on the back stones.
Well, no! No! Well, hard! Go for the back double. Watch your sweep, Marianne, on the ball.
Kelly looking for the double.
On that one. Great shot.
And she's got it.
She got fortunate again. This was not the called double, but it turned out well.
It was there all day, though. I said it was. She would have been pretty unlucky not to make some sort of double here, and actually it worked out very well for her, forcing Quebec now to respond with a double of their own. And you just see the angle there. If there is a double made here, then Colleen's going to have a chance for the third double in a row, and he could get out of trouble here very quickly. Important shot here, though, for Carol Gagnon.
Normal! Game! Normal!
Last rock for Carol Gagnon. And she'll get one, but miss the double.
Missed the double. That was very, very tight.
We are one lonely one.
And it still looks like, yes, Team Canada shot rock.
It's always scary leaving if Colleen elects to draw here.
Possibly not. You don't think? Definitely one. Are we doubling or?
Well, we could double or draw the open side. That's your.
We're one. What do you want to do?
Split the house
Over there?
or double, whatever you like.
I like that.
You can hear the
Get it back
confidence
there.
in the Team Canada
Chancing.
chatter.
Well, I don't know. It's just being so positive all the time, and that's part
So we
of
want to make sure
their
we're back here.
MO, right? They never will say anything negative to Colleen. They'll encourage her to play the shot she wishes, and that's one of their strengths too.
But Kim Kelly will weigh
But
in.
fine the tee. I'm not enamored. I mean, it is a double there, definitely, but
It's got a bit of a risk.
it does.
Double.
Yeah.
But has their communication changed over the years?
Just lots
Has it
of ice
evolved
to
with
make
their
sure we
strategy
catch full 8, Colleen.
in terms
Yeah.
of who
Okay.
Colleen listens
Back
to?
there, though, you guys.
Back, okay.
Back full 8.
Yeah, we'll
They're,
take it
they're
for you.
you know, a quarter into the 8 there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark. I was just listening to the players talk about the weight, but yes, I do think they have evolved over the years. We see Nancy Delahunt, who throws lead, hold the broom for Colleen. Kim Kelly is the third, and often that's a traditional role. She will weigh in from the other end. She'll tell Colleen and Nancy what she thinks the right call is, and sometimes come right down and weigh in, but then she'll back off and say, now the decision is yours.
Right, take a look, guys. Take a look. Nance, it needs
Go,
to
go,
hit.
go, then.
Okay.
Go, go, go.
Come
Hard.
behind. Come behind.
Hard.
Colleen
Hurry,
trying
hurry,
to
hurry,
will
hurry.
that stone. Her draw just behind the tee line.
Thank you, guys. Good
In
judging.
the 8 foot on the other side of the rings.
Very well done.
Great
No
shot, Colleen.
chance to question that.
No.
The front end working hard there with help from Kim.
Tantôt, on a joué une comme ça.
Ouais, comme ça.
OK, tu as frappé quasiment le nez en avant.
Oui, oui, oui.
Looking for a hit.
Pas grave.
Looking to exchange a couple of nose hits here, Joan, and maybe create an angle where there's double or hope for a hit and roll out from Colleen. But that was a great draw by Colleen
On
Jones.
donne
And
un angle pour après.
very well
Oui,
swept.
c'est ça. Oui, parce que là,
Possibility
son
maybe
premier
get a nose
légal.
hit
Ouais,
here,
ok, en
nose
faisant
hit
ça,
from
c'est
Colleen,
arrivé.
and then perhaps
Ok,
they might have an angle for the double
moins.
on the 2 yellows. But they're very spread apart, and
That's so
it's
many.
going to be hard for Quebec to score more than 1 point here.
Which makes you wonder why she doesn't play the freeze right
Exactly.
now. That is her other option. On the same stone, play a freeze.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. Non, j'ai élargi.
And once again, Marie-France Larouche is not happy.
Oh, tiens. Non. Whoa. Veux-tu rouler un peu? Non, non,
Her
non,
first
non.
stone here with the hammer in 4.
Shot,
She wasn't happy with the release, but it turned out to be okay.
Missed the nose hit.
Ouais, je t'arrêtais à ça aussi.
C'est correct, mais
A little my way.
She just felt that she gave that a little bit of a push
No.
to the center line side. And it moved out quite nicely for her. Was not
We're getting
overthrown,
into double
just her
territory.
normal
The
kind of
slightest
hit
little
weight.
roll your way, Kim, but
Yes.
not, of course, out.
Un beau petit lightweight.
Ouais, je l'ai comme...
Je t'ai entendu.
Colleen concerned about the double takeout. It's a very flat double, though. She's going to have to really throw it quite hard to be able to remove both yellow stones, even if Colleen does nose hit this stone.
She doesn't have to remove the second yellow
Only has
stone,
to
though.
nudge it.
Only has to nudge it over a couple of inches to get that 3.
Yeah, still going to need to throw it quite hard, though. Stones are 6 or 8 feet apart. It's tough.
I'd be tempted, though.
Oh, I think you got to play it, but you err on the side of nosing it and get
Yes.
your 1.
Hard. Hurry. Hurry. Hard. Hurry, hurry. Hurry, hurry. Right over.
Hit and a roll.
And roll out.
And just stays in the 12 foot.
Good shot. Just a little more overly down with it. No, it's reasonable.
That was not
Wasn't regular,
in the
but-
game plan. Still a difficult shot for Quebec, but there...
Mais moi, je pense qu'il faut qu'on frappe
Par en dedans, là.
ouais.
Pour être sûr de faire 2. Hein?
Looking to hit the
Ouais,
outside
c'est juste qu'il
stone.
faut faire attention pour frapper ici. Là.
Non, mais là, je lance
Ah,
pas,
correct, correct, c'est beau. C'est beau.
Talked about playing with quiet weight for a moment, but Mary Frances said, let's throw a weight and make sure we get our 2. Don't worry about trying to score 3.
Elle va-tu curler normalement?
Pas bien, bon.
Non, hein,
Ben,
OK.
toi, t'as curlé, par exemple.
Ouais, mais c'est moi.
Moi, mais dans le large, ça curle toujours un peu.
She said even if I'm wide, it's going to curl a little bit.
This is the shot they're talking about. You want to get rid of this stone and not worry about trying to stick around, because then this one comes into play if you're trying to keep your shooter around in here.
Very difficult with quiet weight, this shot, but it's fairly simple with big weight.
For two, this shot is here all day. That's exactly it. You don't want to be fooling around for the 3rd point. Let's just make the shot for 2 and get back in the game.
Team Canada with shot rock. This is the last stone here in the 4th end.
Very tight to her own.
Sweeping this stone vigorously to the house. And they get it.
Shooter stays for 2.
Quebec cracking a takeout for a deuce here in the 4th end. And the Scott final rookies have tied it at 2 as we head to the 5th in Red Deer.
A look ahead to next Saturday night, Hockey Night in Canada, the doubleheader with playoff implications in the East. First up, Buffalo at Toronto. Saturday night begins it all at 6:30 Eastern, and then Buffalo is chasing Montreal in the East. The Canadians are in Los Angeles to take on the Kings as Game 2 of the doubleheader. Of course, After Hours with Kelly Rudy and Scott Oak follows that. Back upstairs, Mark, Mike, and Joan.
One more look at that takeout for a deuce in 4 to tie it up. And heading to the 5th end. Is this the time when Colleen Jones and Team Canada need to make a change in their strategy?
Well, I don't know if they need to, but it's certainly the opportunity for them. We look at Quebec. I think they're throwing up. They're coming into the rings again, and I said this is if your time to change the strategy. You're into the 5th end of the game. Now might be the moment.
Doesn't look like it. Now, why would you say it's the moment? You're sitting at home and saying, well, you know, this is the Colleen Jones that we've seen for years, does not want to take any chances. We've got a Quebec team that has scrambled to get back into this game, and now's the time to send a message. Throw up a corner guard. Take a chance that you're going to get your 2 back.
You'd be trying to roll there.
Right. Pretty close. The young rookie, Gregoire, up against the veteran, Delahunt.
Seems to be hanging in pretty well in her first Scott final at 97%.
Veronique Gregoire was part of that 4th place team at the 2001 Canadian Junior Championships here in her first Scott final.
Now that stone's off the 4-foot, Colleen Jones is throwing up her corner guard.
And we've talked about this strategy before. When you wait to throw your corner guard with the lead's 2nd stone, you now have the seconds throwing for Quebec, and they'll be able to peel this guard if they so choose to.
That's got all kinds.
Colleen was saying after the loss to the Americans in the World Final, they decided to be more aggressive with the hammer. She said, somebody just stole our conservative game strategy and beat us at our own game in Winnipeg at the World Championships. And I'm surprised nobody tried that before. If one team could see that that's how you beat us, don't put rocks in play, we had to change. And that's part of the evolution of this team this year.
Well, I think Colleen's team relies heavily on their sports psychologist, Ken Bagnall, for advice and direction. I think it was Ken that says, we need to refresh ourselves, renew ourselves. How do we continue to grow and pursue excellence in this game? And he came up with them the game plan that let's try a different strategy. Let's look at how we improve all around.
Annie LeMay.
Yeah, it's interesting Colleen would make those type of comments as, you know, as a player you think when the Americans did have a lead, though, they're not going to allow Colleen to throw. They're not going to throw guards for Colleen, so Colleen now is taking it into her own hands and choosing to create her own opportunities to score more than 1 point with the hammer, which I think is a great evolution, and it speaks volumes to this team of how they're willing to change their strengths and take the chance to improve when they're already so successful.
Annie LeMay behind that guard, but way too deep and perhaps just biting the edge of the 12-foot.
Yeah, a mistake by Annie LeMay, giving Marianne Arsenault a chance to make it good, get around her own corner guard and keep it in front of the tee line.
Great. Okay, go.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, we need to help it curl, though. Go, help it curl. Hard. Hurry. Quick. Nice shot, Marianne.
Right to the tee line, but still
straight side, honestly.
partially exposed.
Comme ça. Comme ça? Wait.
And look at this. Annie LeMay
out-curling
Marianne Arsenault through forehand.
C'est bon. Tiens le pas. Okay.
Well, we think of the first four ends, and Quebec forced Colleen to take one in the second, and they had an opportunity for two in the third end, had another chance for two in the fourth end, and made good on it. So it really, Quebec has had the most of the good chances in this final so far. So it's not surprising to see that the fact that they're playing well.
Would you say Quebec is dictating the terms early?
So far, yeah, I think they have certainly had the opportunity to score multiple points. But this is Colleen's opportunity now in the fifth end. She's got a corner guard up, a couple stones back behind the tee line, and she'll have a good chance of her own here in five.
Down a bit. Clean. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Hut. Hurry. Your way, Nance. Go, Nance. Go hard.
Marianne Arsenault will remove the Quebec stone and roll behind cover at the tee line.
And those two stones now for Team Canada are dead buried behind the corner guard, and high pressure situation here for Quebec. They need to make sure this stone is in the 8 foot and at least a piece of it buried in front of that yellow stone.
You cannot bounce off a shot stone. It needs to get close to shot stone without rubbing off of it.
So the gloves are off here in the fifth end.
Let's go. Whoa, pour que ça curl. Whoa.
8, saying is back 4 foot weight.
Whoa. Whoa.
During the round robin, it was draw weight that was the most inconsistent for Carol's numbers.
Oh, she flashes the first Canada stone and freezes to the second.
And you see it was overthrown. It's too much weight, as we were talking about as it came down. If anything, you needed to come. You need to stop in front of that shot stone.
The only good news here for Quebec is that it does outcount that stone at the back 12 foot, and Colleen now is hitting it to only lie 2 instead of 3.
Oh, so close though.
But the error there was on the weight, not the line, Marcus. It's 10 feet heavier than it needed to be. It's a fairly significant miss from Carol.
They did not want to roll in the direction and group those stones together.
A chance for a double here.
There is a double there.
Or a hit and roll. A hit and roll is just fine.
Pretty close at third. Kim Kelly, who has been rock solid all week at 88% to 81 for Carol Gagnon.
And we're going to see Carol's number goes down because of that miss on her first one as we get into the halfway break. But the good chance to redeem herself here if she could ever make this double.
Carol's parents, Chantal Poulin and Richard Gagnon, are here this week, and her mother, Chantal, has been doing the translation for the CCA and their website all week. Second stone for Gagnon of Quebec. And a nose hit.
Okay, Carol. Okay, Carol.
Another chance for Team Canada to play another hit and roll buried behind that corner guard. Looking for more than 2 points here, looking for Possibility of 3.
So Kim Kelly, same shot for Carol
Whoa,
Gagnon.
whoa, 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 whoa! Regular.
Wants the little roll, little flop over to the corner.
No! Coming. No, never.
So this
No!
matchup
Clean.
at third,
No.
as you both thought, beginning to
No.
unfold.
He's trying, he's right.
Elise Rock will hit and roll out.
Nice throw, Kim.
I don't think Kim would agree. She didn't like that right from the time that was out of her hand. There was an opportunity was missed there.
What?
Just a little too much ice, I think.
Marie-France Larouche now really needing a come around into this area. She even if she comes into the top 8 foot would be fine, but she needs to get a portion of her own stone buried in front of that yellow stone. Can't afford to come deep again and allow Colleen to try to get another one in there for 3.
Okay.
Makes good free research, don't you? You could really get out of the end and force Team Canada into a single point again.
Let's go, Marie.
Wait. I agree, but a freeze is a very difficult
Tough shot.
Perfect line, perfect weight.
Skip rocks here in the 5th.
Quite good. La ligne est belle. Yeah. Oh, il y a de la place. Il y a de la place. Il y a de la
All the
place.
sweepers off.
Il y a de la place.
Lots of room. Carol saying.
Now it's really beginning to bend.
Come on, hurry up.
She got enough.
The line's good.
Past the guard. Can they freeze on that Team Canada stone? No.
Listen to the crowd encourage those sweepers.
Don't know if it went far enough. And indication from Colleen Jones, she's drawing open, so that would let you know right there that that stone did not go far enough. Another inch.
I thought we were just biting, but we're well into the 8.
Team Canada still lying 1, do you think?
Definitely, just judging by the call, Colleen's coming wide. If Quebec was shot, Colleen would be making some sort of play on this red stone.
Key line's great, you guys. Maybe even a little deeper just to prevent the roll.
A little less, Nance.
Yeah.
Colleen was talking about experience at this level, at this high-pressure game. Having been there now 4 years in a row, she says it helps a lot. A new champ will come along one day, she said, but we know not to panic. And until you live it, it's hard to believe it.
Behind the
here.
wall, then if it's more. Just T-line.
It looks pretty slow.
Here better.
I think so, yes.
Here better. Here better, hurt. Hurry, 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 hurry. T-line, hard. Hard, 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 hard.
Front end trying to drag that stone to the tee line. And they'll come up just shy, biting the 4 foot. Canada flying 2.
Pretty good shot, though. It's a very, very flat hit and roll.
I guess.
Yeah.
Gotta make.
Comparison at skip. Colleen Jones continues to lead. Marie-France Larouche getting set for her last stone here in the 5th end. This final all tied at 2.
Looking for a big weight hit and roll the shooter over into this area. And if it's very, very flat, Jolana, she really has to throw heavy weight to make this hit and roll.
It is just a hit and roll. It's not looking at the like a flat double. She wants to get over there and half buried and remain shot stone. It is makeable.
Try to hold Team Canada to 1.
Exactly. If she makes it perfectly, she will force Colleen to draw for 1. Very tough.
Yes!
Last rock for Quebec here in the 5th end.
Over curled.
Gets 1, misses the other, and rolls out. And now Canada and Colleen Jones with a chance, an open draw for 2.
OK, Marie. T'as donné un bon coup. Sorry, j'ai dit le balai, hein? Non, je pense pas.
Marie-France was asking if she missed the broom, and she said, didn't think so. I thought you threw it pretty well.
Lovely weight. Okay.
Those 2 stones, though, in the 8 foot look awfully close.
Well, I said it's if there was any doubt in Colleen's mind, she would have been making a play on that red stone. So this is clearly a draw for 2, and I don't think we'll see even Quebec question it.
See, this angle is very deceiving.
Yes, it is. But to say the importance of an inch, I mean, if Quebec would have been able to take that stone another 2 or 3 inches, would have changed the dynamic of this end, certainly. And but again, there's a great opportunity here for Colleen to bounce back after giving up a deuce in 4 with 2 of her own. Simple shot, but important.
Well, we always talk about Colleen and the great hitting game that she has. She draws very, very well.
Nice gliding, Marianne.
Full 8.
No, that's gliding.
Pull 8, pull 8, pull 8.
Last drop here in the 5th end
Well, I like to see
for Colleen Jones and Team Canada.
Okay, don't touch those rocks. So you might want to. Great shot. 2 yellow.
And it'll stop in the 4-foot for 2.
Oh, you said 2 yellow.
Team Canada with a deuce in the 5th.
2 yellow.
Oh, wait a minute. There appears to be some conjecture over
the 2
the
yellow, and I said yes.
2 shots in the 8th.
Now?
Nancy.
Marie, you looked at it as well. You looked at it as well.
Yeah, sure. But she's not. Je voulais regarder une deuxième fois pour être sûre.
Quebec refusing to concede that second shot.
Well, she said that she didn't have a chance to look at it.
Il était 2? Il était 2, je sais pas. Ben, quand on regardait, moi,
Carol's saying she wanted to look at it a second time.
Nancy Delahunt thought that Carol said yes.
Can you look at a camera shot?
Yes.
No, we can't look at a camera shot.
Okay. Well, you guys both looked at it, so you can decide. But it was 2 yellow.
Ce qu'on fait, parce que là, moi on a regardé au départ, là, mais je voulais regarder une deuxième fois, là. C'est sûr que je ne veux pas y donner.
Tu dis en anglais, là?
Okay, first we looked at them. We looked at them, but I just want to be sure that it was it. So I was.
It will be your decision.
Well.
Moi, je pense que t'es fait.
Yes, okay, so 2.
Yeah, I think you are.
Thank you, Marie.
So sportsmanship prevails here in the 5th end.
Moi aussi, je pense qu'il était short, mais je voulais regarder.
Agrees to 2 for Team Canada, and they take the lead 4-2 after 5 ends, and they are 6-0 when leading after 5. Here's Scott.
Yeah, thanks very much, Mark. You can hear the crowd here. Here's Colleen Jones, a little bit of a kerfuffle. What's going on?
I'm not sure what happened. I know I was drawing for 2, and then Nancy said that she said 2 yellow, and then she went to kick the rock off, and the Quebec third was still looking at it. So it was, I always knew I was drawing for 2, but it's one of those that you really have to look at each other's eyes and confirm with each other, is this what you want, you know? So that was rather unfortunate.
Yeah, all that said, it is now 4-2 Team Canada midway through. Your read on how this whole thing has progressed from your point of view? Really
good. They're playing well. I think we're playing good too, and that's just really too bad that just happened, because as I say, on my first shot I split the house to sit 2, and then on my last shot I always knew I was drawing for 2. So we just have to really double check with each other that the communication is good between the 2/3 when they're in a situation like that.
Yeah, the word is that Quebec chose to give up the second point there, but in your mind you play that entire end as if it was always that rock was where it was supposed to be.
I think it was, you know, I mean, I took a look at it and my eyes are pretty good, and the reason why I didn't make a play on Quebec's rock in the first place was she pulled up about an inch short, you know, so I knew I'm splitting the house here, and but Nancy should be a little slower with her. You know, you really do have to nod and say, we get this, it's 2, and if they want to measure, they can measure. So Nancy was Nancy said 2 yellow. She thought she heard a yes, and that's why she made a move.
Anyway, it's 4-2. Thanks for this, Colleen. Good luck.
You're welcome. Bizarre.
Yeah. 5-time Canadian champion Colleen Jones right now after 5 ends of play. The Scott Tournament of Hearts final with Quebec. Team Canada has a 4-2 lead. We'll return to Red Deer in a moment. Back in Red Deer, Alberta at the Centrium, and after 5 ends of play in the Scott Tournament of Hearts final between Team Canada and Quebec, Colleen Jones has a 4-2 lead, and a little bit of controversy at the end of the 5th end as Quebec chooses to give up the second point to Colleen Jones, and there it is, the 4-2 lead. Well, we're in the heart of the West, the breadbasket of curling, so to speak, but our 2 finalists come from east of Ontario. There's a little maritime mystique which is creeping into the game at the championship level. In particular, Colleen Jones represents a wave of success which is rolling in from Atlantic Canada. There is a current in the curling culture of this country which is flowing from the east. The Maritimes and Newfoundland are establishing themselves as constant contenders. Last year at the Scott, all teams involved in the playoffs hailed from east of Quebec. The Blue Nosers once again took the crown. At the Brier, with Halifax as the host city, Nova Scotia made it to the final and challenged a traditional power from the west. 2 weeks ago at the Karcher Juniors, teams from the opposite side of the country swept Canadian championships. Currently, the Red Deer Scott provides proof positive that the East is riding a wave. Skips from the region like New Brunswick's Heidi Hanlon and the rest of the crew have made a composite total of 43 appearances at the National Championship. Together, they deal with the lingering notion that the East is an easy place to win, that somehow they're from the wrong side of the tracks.
Well, I think what happens is in those smaller provinces, you end up getting a team that's really great. And if they stick together and they're going to keep beating all the rest of the teams in the province, they're going to get here 14, 15 times, like Colleen and Heidi and some of the great teams from out there. And then once you've been here that many times, your chances increase of winning the Scott. I mean, if you have 10 chances at it, you're probably going to at least win it once, you would think.
We don't have as many good teams out east. We just don't have the numbers that they would have in the west. But I think the caliber of teams is quite equal.
The winning ways of Jones the Haligonian have brought glory to Atlantic Canada, a certain sense of belonging to curling's inner circle. More importantly, the place Jones has carved out as a star has influenced a new generation.
Well, I watched curling on TV all the time, watched the Scott for years, and just looked up to those girls playing in the Scott and winning it. So I think, watching that, it made me want to be there at that level.
There's somewhere in the vicinity of 400 to 500 kids playing curling in the afternoons after school and Saturday mornings. Teams like Jennifer Guswell's team out of Newfoundland last year, teams like Brad Gouge's team, they attract other kids to the sport too when they see teams like that who are cool and they excel on the national level. So the more we do that, the more draw we create for our sport.
More youngsters pursue the sport in the eastern provinces. There's a pool of talent being developed. All this may put an end to the murmur that some curlers from this region are just big fish who swim in a small pond.
I think when you see teams go ahead of you and do well, you know that it's very possible. It tells you that, you can do it. I mean, there's no borders to success.
The 2005 Scott will go to the extreme east, St. John's, Newfoundland. You think that'll be a little bit of a party? By the way, Kathy Cunningham of Newfoundland here was 6-5. Narrowly missed the playoffs. Heather Smith-Dacey, who you heard from there representing Nova Scotia, also narrowly missed the playoffs. Colleen Jones of Halifax, Nova Scotia, the Mayflower Curling Club, rarely does an 18th Canadian Championship appearance, and right now she's up 4-2 over Marie-France Larouche of Quebec after 5 ends of play at this Scott Tournament of Hearts final. We're at the Centrium of Red Deer, and we're at the final. We'll return to the West in just a moment. Welcome back to Championship Curling on CBC from the Centrium in Red Deer, Alberta. The Scott Tournament of Hearts final between Team Quebec and Team Canada. Let's take a look at the first 5 ends. A blank first ends. Jones forced to draw for 1 in the second. Larouche missed in the third, allowing Jones to steal 1, make it 2-0, and then Larouche comes back to tie it. But it was really the 5th end that became very important as Colleen Jones drew for 2, but not before there was some kind of a discussion between the 2 thirds of the teams, and eventually that second point was conceded to Colleen Jones. I wonder what the people in the booth, Mark, Mike, and Joan, think about that.
Well, Scott, you can call it a controversy or you can call it a case of curling etiquette gone wrong, as Nancy Delahunt appeared to be premature. Indeed, she probably was in removing that second shot stone for Team Canada. Let's go back and revisit that moment before we discuss it.
Great shot. 2 yellow. Don't kick it, Nancy. Oh, you said 2 yellow. I thought you said 2 yellow.
She was rather hasty in moving that stone.
Well, I think what we did is we heard Kim Kelly say, "Don't kick it, Nancy," and we heard Nancy say 2 yellow. She thought she heard somebody say yes. It's an etiquette thing. They played the whole next shot that Colleen Jones was drawing for 2, as Colleen said. Marie-France Larouche, after throwing the draw, would have looked at it and known that it was close, but it looked like Colleen had 2. It was an etiquette thing.
Mike, do you think that Team Canada is lucky that Quebec conceded that second point?
Well, I think there's 2 ways to look at it. Quebec theoretically could have held her to 1, but I think they would have been very tainted too if they had gone on to win, or if they might go on to win this game. But I think everyone in the building knows they were drawing for 2, and I think, as we mentioned, it was more an etiquette communication issue between Nancy and Carol that caused the controversy. But really, at the end of the day, Colleen earned her deuce, and she got a 2-point lead now going into the second half of the game.
Some might say curling etiquette on the part of the fans could be called into question too, with all the booing that took place. But before that fifth end, it really appeared that the young Quebec rink was dictating the terms, setting the table, and they got that very nice double in the fourth end.
Well, earlier in the third end, Marie-France had an open hit for 2, and she rebounded quite nicely by having the opportunity in the fourth end to get her 2 points, set the table for the fifth, where Colleen's team did make some great shots. Game is on here. Momentum is swinging back and forth now that they decided to put some rocks into play.
A 4-2 lead for Team Canada over Quebec after 5 ends, and Team Canada has been unbeaten here at the Scott when leading halfway. Scott?
Right you are, Mark, and the second appearance for Marie-France Larouche of Quebec at the Scott Tournament of Hearts. Colleen Jones looking for a 4th consecutive title. We're back in a moment. Back to Red Deer in the final at the Centrium. There is the line score, 4-2 Canada after 5. 2 points for Canada in end number 5, which is still a little bit of a question here. Here's Marie-France Larouche of Quebec. Your thoughts about conceding that second point to Team Canada in N5?
Yeah, I think there was a shot, so that's why we did okay. You are 2.
Worried a little bit about the etiquette at all, that they wouldn't wait and say, let's take a look at it?
Yeah, sure. Sometimes, actually, yeah, it's to check. Caro would like to check the boat rock, so. The lead don't say no and push the rock. So I think there was a shot. So that's why we did, okay, you have 2, and
there you go.
We'll be back.
Put it aside now. You're known to be an aggressive curler. How will you get ahead now over the next 5 ends?
Yeah, sure. We try to make more shot, more rock and play, and try to continue like that because we have chance. We're in the end before, so just to continue and make rock, and that's it.
All right, well, good luck to you, Marie-France.
Thank you, thanks.
There's Marie-France Larouche down 4-2 to Team Canada. Right now, back upstairs to Mark, Mike, and Joan.
Thank you, Scott, and the Quebec team appears to be over that kerfuffle at the end of the fifth end, down 4-2 as we head to the sixth. And here are the comparisons after 5 ends, and the veteran Colleen Jones clearly in front of Marie-France Larouche, making her first appearance in a Scott final, 89% to 75%.
Well, it's a great comment that you said, Mark. They seem to be over that. They're ready to go into the next end. And this is a reason why they are so popular is they did the right thing, and that was it. It was obviously that Team Canada were playing for their 2. And this is why they are the crowd favorite here in the Centrium. It's very obvious this crowd is biased towards the Quebec team.
Good man. Good shot.
And might I point out that this Team Canada rink has not been the most popular of champions here in Red Deer. We've seen some cheers when they make misses, and clearly they were booed after that etiquette situation.
Well, there's some basic things that happen. Crowds tend to cheer for underdogs, and Team Canada is clearly the favorite. this week, and so crowds will tend to be biased. They want a good game, they want it to be close, and they will cheer for the team that they think needs the cheering. So I think that's one definite factor. The other factor, I think, is that this Quebec team is so young, and it's so nice to see their fresh faces and encourage them to stay with this game.
Top 12.
It's going to be interesting to see how Colleen's team reacts to the negative reception from the crowd too. As they walked onto the ice after the fifth end break, there was some murmurs and rumbles in the crowd too. So this is again where a coach like Ken Bagnall, who's a sports psychologist, can really help them focus on themselves and overcome what's going on. So,
and it really is something being a big deal being made out of something very small, really. So that the team does have to focus on what they're doing, Team Canada. And as Marie-France says, we got to get back to making some shots and getting the deuce back, tying this game up.
And make no mistake, Colleen Jones has repeatedly emphasized the importance of Ken Bagnall, keeping this team together, keeping their lines of communication open, and finding ways to keep this championship team that wears the maple leaf and a target fresh.
I think more teams can learn from Colleen Jones' team taking on a sports psychologist. It may be the next level for competitive curling, for the elite sport that we are. Very few teams will consult a sports psychologist on a continual basis, such as Colleen Jones' team has, and you know, arguably it has made the biggest difference in them attaining success over all these years.
Nice chance now for Quebec with the corner guard and two Team Canada stones behind the tee line, looking for a come around at corner guard from Annie Lemay.
We heard Marie-France tell Scott that they were going to get very aggressive here in the sixth.
That also endears them to the crowd. When we think about reasons why the crowd may be cheering for Quebec, it's because they play with a lot of rocks in play. And crowds like that. The spectators love it. And Colleen's team, as we said, in the past have been more defensive, although this week I've seen a team that played with, took a lot of chances and threw a lot of corner guards, not so much so in this final, but certainly all week they have.
Great come around there from Annie. Burying it at the back of the 8-foot. Forcing Colleen to play the peel.
Clean shot. Good girl.
Marianne Arsenault removing the guard.
Oui. C'était bien beau, ta pierre. Ouais.
You have to be impressed by this young skip Marie-France and the way she does not hesitate. She knows her game plan. She knows the right call for this team. And part of that speaks to all the years that she has been skipping and been coached to skip this aggressive style.
Weight's good.
Sit.
Annie Lemay's second stone here in the sixth.
Stone over curling a little.
Yes, Solon, let's go. Yes, à côté, là. Oh!
Want to bring it all the way down beside that yellow stone.
Dis-moi, c'est bon, Annie. Correct, Annie. I want to stay there.
Canada still won.
Regular. Regular. Clean. Whoa.
Kim Kelly has been a picture of consistency here in Red Deer.
Great weight, Kim. Nice throw. Okay. Thanks. Shot.
Is the double there, Marianne, isn't it?
Wait.
Is there a double there?
I think she's talking after the freeze. Nancy was a little surprised they didn't hit the top one and try the double. But it's a tough double. I think Colleen's just thinking if she can maintain two of her own stones to shot rock. But I think Quebec's happy right now. It'd be freezing is that all of the Team Canada stones are at the tee line or deeper, and good opportunity to try to generate some more than a single point here in 6.
Oh. Faut que ça curl.
Allez, Gabriel. Faudrait qu'elle curl.
Line's good, is what they're saying.
OK, elle s'en vient. On pousse pas, faut pas pousser.
C'est juste freeze, là.
OK.
Don't want to bump it.
Faut être freeze, freeze. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Good looking shot.
Nice shot.
Beauty.
Freezing up on the edge of the 4-foot.
Just where Marie-France indicated.
Hey, t'as ton manteau? Oui, j'avais froid tantôt.
Oh, well, no, Kevin's only got a jam there.
Yep. Okay.
More than the last one.
Whoa.
Then whoa.
Whoa.
Might try the double. Yep.
Yeah, might as well.
Whoa, whoa, hurry, 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 hurry. Quick. Quick. At least get it
The
back.
hit, roll.
Great shot. Good shot.
That worked out very well.
They weren't calling for the double, knowing that it would jam.
Yeah.
This was plan B.
It is.
But great shot for Kim. Is in the good result there is that I believe that Team Canada is line 2. Now.
Once again, we have 2 second stones
Okay.
that are very, very close.
I'm pretty sure they won't be kicked off with any
On laisse
haste
faire.
at the
Faut
end.
pas que je frappe. Faut pas que je tape.
And the problem
Faut
for
pas que je
Quebec
tape.
is that if they ignore those 2 rocks, there's no way for them to remove the top yellow one without making contact and keeping their shooter around.
Okay. Let's go.
I think the call is the freeze on the shot stone.
Parce que je m'en vais vers le centre. OK.
See Marie-France just kind of glancing at those 2 stones, wondering what she's going to do with them after when she does get the chance.
Yes, looking 2 shots down the road.
I think she has to.
Mine's great.
She knows there's not much she can do right away, so it's going to take a couple stones.
2 shots to wiggle them.
Yes!
You need to go here for weight.
And for line.
Oh, they got enough. Sweeper's trying to drag this one to the button. To the 4-foot anyway. Team Canada still lying 1.
Oh, ça aurait été mieux de se taper. À cœur là, en crème.
A little
À
roll.
cœur là, en chien, hein?
Okay.
Nice thing now for
Sitting there for the double.
we're
So she should jam though.
So you want to roll this way?
for Quebec
roll,
is if they
just
do
a bit.
roll over in this area, there will then be a double on these top 2 stones for Quebec. So Colleen has to be a little bit careful where she rolls. I think she's looking to
Yeah, it looks like it, Marianne.
nose hit. But this might be an
I'm quite
opportunity
sure
to get out.
we'd be sitting 1, 2, and 3.
Can she get a double here?
Yeah. Perfect. All right.
No, the double's not there, Mark, I don't think. Well, not on purpose anyway. It might be there by accident, but she could choose to hit her own Yellowstone and have the shooter go in. That would be an option, but she's looking to hit in line 3.
Yes, exactly. Colleen's quite sure she'll be line 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
I believe that if she does make the shot she calls here, so Quebec will have an opportunity to make some sort of move on that stone that's frozen.
Yes, hard. Never leave it. Whoa. Hurry, hard. Hurry, 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 hurry. Hard. Whoa, hard. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, I just want to clip this back one. Oh.
And she punches the Quebec stone out. To lie 3. Maybe 2.
I mean, hard to freeze to that back one now, isn't it?
Nice throw, Colleen. Okay.
Ouais. Je n'en ai pas shot.
Puis on n'a pas bien le choix. Moi, je pense que si tu veux au moins te donner une shot à ta dernière, il faut faire ça. Parce que si elle frappe, tu auras le 4 pieds, tu sais.
Oui,
OK? Oui. Il va l'être.
La poignée, c'est mince, sinon elle va rester.
Marie-France saying she wouldn't be shot if she makes the double, but Caro saying you don't really have much of an option. You need to make the double takeout here. You may even get lucky here, Joan, and perhaps spin that other Yellowstone out the back of the 12-foot. You would lie 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and force Colleen into making a tough shot on her next one. But certainly if she can lie 2nd and 3rd.
I don't see anything else. I think she has to remove this top Yellowstone and get something to even be able to get her 1 point at this point.
Mary France Larouche with her first stone here in the 6th, looking for the double.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Close. Whoa, whoa, yeah, no.
Gets 1, gets 2. And the fan favorite here in Red Deer.
Beau, Marie, super beau, ça. Bien lancé.
Roll that way. No.
Very close, though, on the edge of the forefoot.
It looks like yellow to me.
Looks like yellow's second shot.
And they've been playing again
or
like
shot,
it is.
rather. Yeah.
Yellow is shot stone.
I think we need a little roll here towards that one.
Towards yellow?
Yeah, because we're shot.
Does she yeah, what if she plays
Interestingly
that
now, these two stones that are here in the corner, it's possible that
just stay there.
this red stone may jam on this back stone if she does make a nose hit and perhaps score 2, bringing that stone at the back 12 into play. So Colleen needs to hit and stay here.
Will that red jam back on our yellow and give her anything?
Yeah, we're talking about that right now.
No, I mean
here. All I'm trying to do is nose hit.
No.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not looking at that. I just have to nose hit.
Again, focusing on herself rather than focusing on the make instead of the miss. So Colleen needs to hit and stay here. It's worth looking at, though.
I think so too. I agree with Tim Kelly to take a look at it. I don't know, Mike, if that's lined up or whether it goes over the top.
Even if she just clipped it out on the way by, though, she might have a shot for 2. So.
Colleen Jones, last stone in the 6th.
Stay right there. I don't want to jam. Okay, there we go.
And removes the Quebec
I'm
stone.
just wondering.
Good shot.
It was good to look at that in case she could get 3.
There's no opportunity now for
I was afraid
Quebec.
of any kind of little bounce for the.
What I was trying to get at, Skipper, is if you by sitting on the nose, you eliminate that. I didn't know where the back one was.
Yes.
And if she jammed on the yellow, I just wondered if there's any way to get a 2 out of it.
For them?
Yeah. If that would jam somehow, you know what I'm saying? And bring that into play, but that's way back. So.
I don't see any deuce for her.
No. You knew what you were doing.
There's the advice you were talking about with Kim coming to Colleen. And Colleen, as she made her throw, taking the advice and then reaffirming her decision.
Yes.
Toi, tu penses que si on frappe le nez, elle passe en avant.
OK, ils sont pas collés.
Ben, il y a une petite distance.
Je pense que si on frappe quasiment à nez, on peut être correct.
C'est parce que j'ai pas beaucoup de marge de manœuvre. Hein. Si je suis un petit peu plus large, là, je laisse 3.
Entire Quebec team conferencing in the house. Debating their key final stone shot here.
Si on est sur le nez, c'est sûr qu'on fait 1. Tu sais, la jaune, elle va partir, puis toi, tu vas rester shot là, c'est sûr.
They've already used up 6 more minutes than Team Canada here.
Je pense que le nez, c'est quasiment parfait.
C'est off-center.
Fait qu'on joue ça?
C'est off-center, Marie-France.
Il faut l'essayer.
Oui.
Tantôt, ça queue-là un peu, hein?
Oui.
Quand j'ai joué
dans ce coin-là, oui.
Camille Larouche, the coach of Quebec,
C'est
and
off-center,
Mary France's father.
They're just talking about how hard they need to hit this stone to make sure that yellow stone that's frozen gets out of the rings, and they have to throw it fairly hard. Mary France was concerned that when she hits this stone off center here, that she was wondering if this stone was going to stick on the back one. Usually when the stones are frozen, there is an ability to have it drag on, but I don't think the red stone's going to stay in the range stone. I think it's a firm weight hit on the nose. If you see the stone over curl slightly, though, it's going to result in a steal of 1 here for Colleen.
Last rock in the 6th end for Mary France Larouche.
Whoa! Whoa! Yeah! Whoa! Whoa!
Looking for a takeout to score 1. And she may have 2. Or
only 1 for sure, but I don't think there'll be any rocks kicked off in a hurry here.
1 for sure?
1 for sure.
1 for sure. Yes, and no hasty removal this time as Nancy Delahunt and Carol Gagnon survey the second shot rocks. So more drama here in the 6th end after the controversy to end the 5th. And there will be a measurement for sure.
It appears from our overhead that yellow is shot. You can see a little bit more of the white.
It's us.
It's us, so be prepared for a big boo.
Oh.
Well,
You can hear the
it
Team
is us.
Canada
I don't care
ring
if anyone wants to be. Like, oh, a lot. It looks like a lot here.
already expressing displeasure at the treatment of the fans here.
Job done.
Yeah, it may not be displeasure, Mark, as much as it's get prepared. You know, it's going to happen, so get yourself prepared so you're not shocked by it.
Just the one, Carol.
Yes, yellow is shot, so it's just one for Marie-France Larouche and a smattering of boos from the sellout crowd here in Red Deer. So Quebec gets one back, but through 6, it's a 4-3 lead for the defending champions.
We're back to the Centrium in Red Deer, Alberta. After 6 ends of play now, Team Canada just one ahead of Marie-France Larouche and Team Quebec. Moments ago here at Center Ice, Scott Paper Limited made a very special presentation to Shannon England, the husband of the late Sandra Schmerler.
With great pleasure that I present on behalf of Scott Paper Limited and our parent company Kruger Inc. to Shannon this check in the amount of $75,000 for the Sandra Schmerler Foundation.
Tremendous outpouring of support on the part of the fans of curling. If you want to donate to the Sandra Schmerler Foundation, here's the mailing address: 1660 Viemont Court, Cumberland, Ontario, K4AA4J4. And there's the number that you can call, or also attached to the website, to make a donation to this very worthy cause. And now back to the booth.
And we're nicely underway here in the 7th with the 3-time defending champions up 4-3 and with the hammer here. And during the break, their coach and sports psychologist Ken Bagnall came down and gave them a pep talk. Yeah, he's been their biggest cheerleader here all week, and he just reaffirmed that this is your time now. You're in the zone. Stay confident. It's yours to take.
And they always, he does come down at most in between ends, especially here in the final, to reconfirm with them their own personal cheerleader. And talk about their response. They look at him and they say, "Thanks, Ken. That is exactly what we need right now, is just to hear that we are on the right track."
Do you think he sensed, though, that the booing might be a distraction?
Oh, I think so. Not only sense it, I think he predicted it. It is one of the things that you do when you go into a one-game final in a full arena. You predict how the crowd's going to react to certain situations, and I'm sure they anticipated that there will be times where they would feel uncomfortable. Oh, they did not want to roll in on that guard. This is giving Team Canada the opportunity to hit.
I might add, it's unusual that a team here with a chance to make history, winning a 4th consecutive title, would not be a fan favorite.
Well, I guess my experience tells me, Mark, that it happened to us as we went for the three-peat in 1995. We felt very, very strongly that the crowd did not want us to win, and I think for the reasons I outlined earlier, it's people have a natural tendency to cheer for the underdog, and I think I'm not that surprised by the reaction.
Well, this end hasn't started the way that Marie-France Larouche would have liked. She would have hoped to have utilize the free guard zone, and the mistake of sliding into the rings on their first stone of the end has allowed Colleen to play a little bit more defensively, and you know, up 1 with the hammer, playing 7 is a good spot to be in, and when your opponents make mistakes, Colleen will not risk a 1-point lead by throwing up a corner guard, as you know, I don't think any competitive team would have. But, good chance here now. A long center guard, and you see this is the new Colleen taking the initiative to try to create her 2 points.
Her other option at this point is to go up and peel that guard.
Nice weight. Just for weight. Just for weight. She's got line. Weight's great. She's got line. Lot of line. A lot of line.
Passing by the guard by a good 1.5 feet.
No, lots of weight too.
No, it's not. Top 4. You want us to go?
Okay, go. Go hard, hard, hard. Nice weight, Marianne.
Canada in behind cover in the 8-foot.
Only a portion of it, though, Mark. I think it's probably 3/4 exposed.
Just showed the great curl in this ice. She went by the guard by a couple of feet and almost got half buried.
For a hack weight hit here from Annie LeMay.
Bomb. Bomb.
No, no.
Bomb.
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Nice shot, Annie.
Shot.
Takeout for Annie LeMay. Quebec shot.
Forward.
But wide open for Marianne Arsenault.
Forward. Yep. Whoa. 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 Forward. Whoa.
Almost control. Nance, you got anything over
No,
there?
nothing
Let's
much.
see.
Maybe a little.
Okay. Good, Marianne. Nice shot.
We talk about the control weight used in the arena setting. It's very nice takeout weight. If you up your weight on this ice, it won't move an inch. Whereas you throw the nice, soft, control takeout weight, you'll get some nice finish at the end, and sweeping will be able to hold it if you need it.
Yes, yes. Whoa. 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 Whoa.
No, no.
Hitting and rolling the other way.
Okay.
Very comfortable end here for Colleen Jones. She's got a couple of guards up there, and now that the stone's out into the 12-foot, she's got a nice opportunity to roll in behind those two guards.
Yes, you're gonna have to control. Yep. Hard. 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 Never leave it. Hard.
As soon as Kim Kelly let that rock go, she called her sweepers on it.
Hard, 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 hard. Hurry. No roll.
Hit and a roll,
Nice shot, Kim.
but too far.
Well swept, though.
Good sweep.
Light.
Caro Gagnon has a chance to get a little flop in behind that yellow guard. You wouldn't want to be completely buried behind there. It's a very short raise for Team Canada. But if you just tuck a quarter or a half of a stone, that would be a great shot.
Normal moins. Yep, yes, on that. Yes.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Pas la forme, non.
Ouais, c'est normal moins.
Non, non, non.
Quite a bit more weight thrown here.
Non, non, non. Non, non, non. OK, c'est beau.
Takeout, and they'll stick on the edge of the 12-foot.
Another nice aggressive call here from Colleen Jones, ignoring that stone in the top 12 and asking Kim Kelly to give her 2 points by making a nice come around here in the top 8-foot.
Got lots of line.
It's a great call.
Weight's good. Weight's nice. Yeah, no. You got room. You got a whole bunch of room. Just go top 12.
Wider than Marianne's come around. Said missed the guard only by 2.5 feet this time. Mistake there, and it's deep now, and Quebec has a great chance here now to hit and roll behind that center guard and be buried in the full 4-foot.
Nice draw to the open side, I always say. Watching yours, we need
Second draw today for Kim Kelly.
The weight was good, just missed the line by.
But like I could have thrown edge of the 4. Got by that front so long.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have hit the roll because I stopped top button. You just
Marie-France Larouche with her first stone here in the 7th, looking for a hit and roll behind cover.
Chance to put some pressure on Colleen Jones.
Whoa, whoa, then, whoa.
More weight than they asked for is what they're indicating.
Kill.
Going the other way with it.
Not what she wanted.
That type of decision has to be made right from the get-go usually. If hitting and rolling one way or the other. It's a fairly significant difference in line.
And now a great chance for Colleen Jones.
That's right. Now Colleen has the same opportunity that Mary France had to put some pressure on.
Colleen Jones, an enduring image in women's curling. 18 Scott appearances, 17 as a skip. We were asking her when she might think of retiring, and they're not even thinking about anything until after the Torino Olympics in 2006. Ken Bagnall's already talking 2010, but her teammates were kidding her, saying they'll all be retired and she'll be playing with their daughters.
Yes.
Colleen loves it, and said curling's her sanctuary. She gets away from her everyday life by going to the curling rink and practicing every single day.
Up a bit. Firm. Clean. Clean. Yep. Whoa. Clean only. Whoa. We're not even on the road. Whoa. Go the other way. No. Okay. No, we're right on the beach.
Will she get the hit and roll? No.
She's giving her opposition a chance to make the shot better. Same shot that Marie France had last.
You see now at this stage of the end too, the risk that Colleen took by going around the center guard is now going to result in her being forced to take a single point because of her ignoring that stone at the top of the 12-foot. Colleen will be forced to score a point if Quebec is able to hit and stay.
Want to take a look at Marie France has been throwing more weight than her teammates, and also as she generates that weight, it's a little push at the end, and she hasn't been very accurate with her hits today. It's a great chance to get it right.
Yeah, you get a feeling she's due to make one of these rolls.
Coming into this end, Marie-France Larouche was trailing Colleen Jones in percentage by 10%, 89 to 79. Her last shot here in the 7th. She gets the hit. Now the roll.
Nice shot.
Perfect roll, and right behind her guard.
Now you see that it's higher in the house now. Had she been able to make that roll on her first shot, it would have been for a 4-foot. Now Colleen Jones is forced for the draw against too, but it's only to 8-foot. You see, nice soft release that time. No pushing it out towards the broom, which would mean it would take longer to cut to the face. Very nice.
First really difficult shot we've seen Colleen throw. She had a draw similar to this early in the game, but it was only against the 12-foot. So.
Colleen has owned the 4-foot this week. Drawing to the 4-foot late in the game has not been a problem for her. Now remember, as I always will tell you, this is a team shot. This is about the sweepers as well as the thrower.
There forever.
Just listen to them communicate with each other as they sweep this rock.
Last rock here in the 7th.
Not much question from the sweepers on this one.
4 foot, 4 foot. Line's great. 4 foot, 4 foot, 4 foot. Line's good. Whoa, line's good. Whoa.
Is it too heavy?
Nice shot,
No.
Colleen.
She'll draw to the 4-foot as ordered, 4-1 here in the 7th. So Team Canada reestablishes a 2-point lead over Quebec as we head to the 8th here at the Scott Final.
We're back in Red Deer, Alberta, the Scott Tournament of Hearts final. Right now, Team Canada, led by Colleen Jones, after 7 ends of play, has a 5-3 lead over Marie-France Larouche of Quebec. You know, Colleen Jones is chasing a record outright. That would be 4 Canadian championships in a row. This woman, Vera Pezer, won 3 in a row for Saskatchewan, 71 through 73. Are you worried about your record here, Vera?
Well, I think I have every right to be worried. I mean, but Colleen's team is a terrific team, and I give them credit for being in the position they're in. They've had just a great run, and so did our team in our time. It reflects 2 different teams at 2 different periods of time.
You know, you've published a great book called The Stone Age, Social History of Curling on the Prairie, and I'm wondering what it says about curling in this part of Canada when you've got a full house to watch 2 teams from Eastern Canada.
Well, it's a reflection of how powerful this game has been, really throughout Canada, but especially on the prairies, and for 100 years or more. And we're just seeing that today. Red Deer's done a terrific job. The caliber of play has really balanced out across the country in the last decade or so. But really, this is just a terrific spot, and it's been a terrific week.
Thanks very much for doing this, Vera. You've been so great for curling in so many ways.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right, back up to the booth.
Yes, two curling authors getting acquainted here in Red Deer. Scott Russell, of course, the author of Canada and the Magic of Curling on bookshelves now. Vera Pezer, of course, with her 3 straight Scott, or at least Canadian titles from 71 through 73. That's the mark that could be broken today by Team Canada. Vera Pezer's 3 straight were part of 6 consecutive Saskatchewan victories in the 70s, ended in 1975 by Quebec.
Top 12.
I'm always fascinated by the 8th end in a very tight curling game. I think it's so intriguing to see who's going to score and what chances do they take to get their points. A small mistake again by Team Canada, Nancy Delahunt, by coming behind the tee line on her first stone. They intended to throw it into the house, but keep it in front of the tee line.
Yeah. We've seen that virtually every end when Colleen has not had last rock, that Nancy has uncharacteristically slipped her first stone behind the tee line, giving Quebec an opportunity to move some stones back into the back of the house.
A much tighter final than we've seen throughout the weekend in the playoffs. There were 5 multiple point ends in the 1-2 page playoff. And that will flash right through the house. 4 multiple point ends in the semifinal, just 2 so far here.
Ouais, t'étais bon, Véro. I like the peel. Whatever you like, Colleen. Mais me semble que j'étais
Big miss at lead.
Mais me semble qu'elle n'avait pas beaucoup.
Interesting exchange right now on Team Canada. Kim Kelly yelled down, "I like the peel," on the corner guard that was thrown up by Quebec. And Colleen's calling for a guard in the house. And you hear Marianne say, "Whatever you want, Colleen." That is the nature of this team.
Center though, Kim. Got to get it to center.
It's coming. It's going to be in.
Whoa. Whoa.
Here it comes now to the center.
You know, the thing about the peel is that she's still bumping back and bumping back. Yeah. You know, let's put some pressure on them.
Yeah, sure. It's a good call.
Yeah.
So the veterans trying to turn up the heat on the rookies.
It's interesting rationale. I'm with Kim Kelly. I would have liked the peel. You have a 2-point lead going into the 8th end. You want Quebec to make something happen. You have a good hitting team. I would have liked the peel.
Time's on Colleen's side. You know, they're 2 up with 3 ends to play, and whenever you get a chance to kind of put an end out of reach there, which they did by peeling that guard, they really would have had a great chance to force.
Shot.
They'll get one. They'll spill the other Team Canada rock to the 12-foot.
Now you see Quebec's got a great opportunity now with that guard coming too deep. Even if Colleen Jones hits and stays guarding that stone, there's a good opportunity to freeze.
Choking it off. We play the intern. She wants to know if you can play the in.
Colleen Jones' first call was to hit and roll and guard her own stone. That stone is behind the tee line. I certainly don't like that call at all. You're playing into the hands of Quebec, where they'll say, "Great, got a guard, got a rock behind the tee line. Think I might just come right in there and freeze on top of that."
Whoa!
Need to roll on.
Okay. That's fine.
They remove that guard and roll out. As we compare the seconds in this final, Annie LeMay and Marianne Arsenault, and the Quebec second at 88%.
That was the call.
Ahead of Marianne Arsenault.
Nice throw.
They're using it right now.
Might have been a
aren't they?
little firm, Marianne. That's what she'd probably say, but it was.
Nice throw, yeah. That's
Good call here by the Quebec skip. Use the corner guard that Colleen Jones has let stay there. Ignore the rock in the shot rock that's in the backboard.
Annie LeMay made this exact same come around in the 6th end, made it perfectly.
They have to get by the guard.
Can they get past it? No. They'll wreck on the guard and roll to the middle.
Just too light. I think the line was fine. I don't know if that was going to make the house.
It's fine, though. They left 2 guards out front.
Now the Team Canada stone is partially protected on the button.
Colleen going after them.
Is it going to come this much?
Yep.
Okay.
Need to have the stone in front of the tee line. Top 8-foot would be ideal.
Line's great. Hard line. Got You do a broom.
Top 12.
Yeah, room, hard. Hard, never leave it.
Great line, hurry!
Can they get past this guard? Yes.
Great shot, Kim.
Not as deep as they would have liked, though. That stone actually can be used as a guard now by Quebec. They can draw right around that stone and play the freeze.
And the thirds head-to-head. Well, this is where we thought the match would be won or lost in the biggest comparison. And Carol Gagnon has kept pace with Kim Kelly.
Vas-y, normal, Caro.
Normal.
Well, they're playing a run back here, Jonas. I think, you know, down 2 points. I think it might be worth the risk of playing that intern freeze.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're playing. They are playing a hit on this.
No. Yep. Yeah. Oh, no.
Yes. Ouvre-le.
They'll miss the Team Canada stone and remove the guard.
Little surprised that they played that straight back. As you mentioned, I thought it was a pretty good opportunity to draw around and get some rocks in play.
And the other bad news is that they didn't remove the top yellow stone on the way by.
Seems like it's got lots. Whoa, Nancy, whoa. Whoa.
Clean.
Whoa.
Clean. How tight you got?
Halfway.
Yeah,
Okay, go
tighter than that.
halfway to tight. Go. Hello, go.
Good.
Little bit.
Little bit?
No.
No. That's good there. Good.
Shot.
Replacing the guard.
I like the draw.
I don't know why we didn't want to cover it. Just got the hit and roll.
I don't know how their seconds come around curled that hard.
OK, c'est beau.
Tu sais, c'est là, puis t'as pas beaucoup d'options, si tu viens là.
Non, OK.
She's just asking Carol, said if we play the freeze, we're not going to have much option on our next one. But I think down 2, playing 8, you need to try to take a little bit of a chance here. But it's looking to hit and roll behind the corner guard.
She needs to be second shot when all's said and done here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yep.
Yes.
Whoa.
Whoa, right off.
No.
Whoa.
Yes.
Remove the Team Canada stone. Will it hang around? It does on the edge of the 12-foot.
Stone's a long way from counting, though. There's Colleen's got a good chance here. Play another guard.
Mais non.
Well, you hear them talk about the Christmas tree. They're talking about the Christmas tree. We heard this phrase being used in the Canada Cup. They're talking about the Christmas tree, the boughs of the Christmas
double on that other
tree.
side
You'll
there.
see how that works there, Mike.
Very nice.
Thank you.
And I don't want to hit that one over there because I don't want to leave her this.
Oh, no, this is great.
Colleen's taking away the freeze here by throwing the stone into the top of the 8-foot.
Even half in the
Edge more, Nance. More again, Nance. More.
Great opportunity for Team Canada to really put pressure on Quebec.
Your line's fine. Line's fine. Lots
Colleen
of room.
Jones has been simply perfect with her draws this afternoon.
Whoa.
Clean it. Clean only.
Yep.
Clean only.
Yep. Hurry.
And she puts it
Yep.
Nice shot.
Very nice
deep
shot.
in the 8-foot.
Very nice
You can
shot.
hit and roll again, but
Double and roll even.
that tuck's nice.
Very nice.
Did it come up,
Yeah.
sir?
Oh, yeah. Christmas tree, full Christmas tree.
Is it really?
Wait. Great shot, Colleen.
Maybe third.
Thanks. I couldn't do much better, really.
And the call for Marie France is to hit and roll to the corner.
On va y aller, Hack, pour rester deuxième
She'd like to
shot.
stay second shot, exactly what she said. But
But even if she does make that shot, Colleen does the same thing, and Marie France will have a very difficult shot for 1. So she's playing this, hoping that there's a miscue from Colleen on her next one. Now, at 100% for her draws, that's not looking like that might happen.
Yes!
Quebec facing 3 Team Canada counters here.
Whoa! Yes! 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 Yes!
Larouche will get one and roll the second shot.
Not far enough.
And wide open.
Great chance now for Colleen Jones. Come down. She'd like to hit and roll her shooter right into this area here and really take away any opportunity for Quebec to score, make it very, very difficult.
Yep, this looks great.
You have to draw the side of the button, probably wide on the outturn side, left side of the screen as we're looking at it to the edge of the button.
Nose looks pretty nice too.
Either or.
Yeah, you're right, Ray. Or the same spot, because that's going to be a regular.
Just throw regular.
Just exploring the options of what would be their plan B. If it's not a perfect roll, what's their tolerance? And they're talking about a nose is not that bad.
Yep, regular.
Takes away the in-turn draw, certainly would force Marie-France to make a double.
Last stone for Colleen Jones. Quebec with the hammer here in the 8th.
It's really curling.
She won't get the roll.
Got away with it though.
That looked like a lovely throw.
Now we see your spot. Now,
Good shot.
Marianne's dealer's choice.
You know, it's a bit tricky though, eh?
Yeah.
You have to be careful.
Okay.
Pretty much
just this way with them.
Yeah, just it shifted ever so slightly that way, but would have done the same this way.
Marie-France looking for a hack weight hit here.
You heard
Jouer la même chose que je viens de jouer.
Problem for Marie-France is this stone is almost in the path of her draw into the button, so she's forced to play a little bit more weight and come through the port with hack weight. The nice thing is for them, they've thrown the shot the last 2 consecutive stones, but they did roll significantly on both of them.
So a pressure shot here. Last rock in the 8th for Marie-France Larouche.
Yeah! No!
Trying to get out of this Team Canada trap and score 1.
Whoa! 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 Clean!
Really nice weight control here from Marie-France. Really well done.
For 1 on the button. So a roar goes up here at the Edmax Centrium as Quebec moves back to within 1. Team Canada with hammer in 9.
Anniversary number 10 of the Ford Hotshots accuracy contest at the Scott Tournament of Hearts. At stake, the brand new 2005 Ford Escape. 2nd and 3rd place finishers take home big screen TVs for a display of supremacy in curling subtlety. A player has to execute 6 shots, everything from the hit and stick to the tricky double takeout. Top score per shot is 5 points. The final pits, the Ontario second Andrea Laws against the Alberta lead Stephanie Marchand. Both were nearly flawless as part of the final 4. Laws, a 1990 Canadian champ on Alison Goring's rink, displays a little magic while delivering the hit and roll. This one goes right to the heart of the house. Hard to be any better than this. 5 points for Andrea Laws of Sherry Madaw's Ontario foursome. Stephanie Marchand wins the TV as runner-up, while Nova Scotia lead Lainey Peters winds up in 3rd position. Congratulations to Andrea Laws, the Ontario second this year in the 10th anniversary of the Ford Hotshots at the Scott Tournament of Hearts. Laws is second to none.
To play, 2 ends to play in this Scott Tournament of Hearts final, and it's a 1-point game. Marie-France Larouche and this upstart team from Quebec trailing Team Canada 5-4. But this is a clutch team from Quebec all week. They are 6-0 in 1-point games. But this is their situation. They need to steal in 9 and 10 to win, much as they had to do in 10 and an extra end to beat Ontario in the semifinal.
Well, it just shows it's possible, and I think they have to take some strength from what happened yesterday against Sherry Madaw. I don't think they can really hope for the same type of steals, though. They got steals from misses from Sherry, and you know, Colleen is very, very tough in this. They're going to have to get some center guards up and really force Colleen into making some difficult shots.
And it's interesting, during the break, Colleen and the Team Canada rink gathered and talked just about the situation that took place last night in the semifinal.
And they noted that in the 10th end, Cherry Mauda elected to draw open. They are not going to do the same thing. They're going to go after Quebec here, try to get a stone into the top of the 8-foot.
Top 8. Lots of line. Lots of line, guys. That line will come. You got weight. Whoa.
Critical shot. Nancy cannot afford to come to the back of the button like she's done on all, basically 5 or 6 times this game. She slipped her first stone behind the tee line. Look for this to stop top 8.
For a bit. Yep. Yeah, go. Yep.
Good shot.
You know, it's coming nice this
And
way.
they're sweeping it all. They could, like 2 feet shorter than that would have been good for
3 feet. Yeah.
good for Team Canada.
Là, elle est 4.
Oui, quasiment, oui. Let's go, Véro.
Looking for the freeze here from Vernick.
Other option in the four rock rule is to throw the second center guard up.
That was a work of art, that delivery. She was just a little shaky coming out.
Well, the Quebec strategy to muck it up in 10 and 11 yesterday worked. Bounce off the Team Canada rock.
Well, moving it behind the tee line is a good alternative. They were looking for the freeze. That is now behind the tee line, and Quebec may be able to use it, come down and freeze to it behind that guard.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa.
Once again, Nancy Delahunt calls off the sweepers.
Whoa. Anything at all? Anything at all?
No.
Hard.
Hit in a little roll, but not behind that Quebec guard.
Pretty good shot though. Covered her own on the back of the button, which is important, and prevents Quebec from freezing to it on this particular shot.
They can freeze to it with the other turn. The shot
pousser,
stone,
mais là,
but
on
then
s'en va un peu.
Canada would be able to use the one in the top 4 foot.
Viens donc, venez donc, on va regarder.
On peut-tu frapper le nez?
Non, je frappe un peu à droite.
Asking if you can hit it on the nose.
La
And
vois toute, Annie? Ouais, mais il manque ça. Bon, ben si on y va hack, là, elle va venir là, on va sortir celle-là, puis on va rester ici. C'est beau. OK?
for Hackweight, looking for a nose hit. Another option again, Joan, just to bump it back 2 feet beside that yellow one, trying to steal. Tough shot.
Very tough shot. I agree with you, Mike. I like the softer weight. You're into it now. You're going for the seal. Try to maneuver the top stone with the quieter weight so that your shooter sticks around.
No, c'est bon. Clean. Clean. Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No. Ta curl. Okay, curl. Curl.
Trying to finish.
Nice shot, Annie.
Gets the nose hit.
Very good shot.
Removes one of
as good as she could have
Canada's
done.
stones.
Yeah, as good as she could have done on that one. Pauline's got a decision to make
Hit
now.
and roll away. Yeah, but then we've got this. We're leaving that.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to peel.
Colleen not comfortable with the way those rocks are lined up, and I think she's making a nice call here, peeling off this center guard.
Hard. Yep. Hurry. Hard. Yeah, I don't like that. Guard there, and then that there, and then they freeze.
I'm
They're
with you.
freezing for sure.
I'm with you.
No, good call, Colleen.
So the guard is removed.
Parce que si on pousse là. Non, regarde.
Just I like the feel on that call.
Okay.
Now Quebec will throw up a few guards, and we'll just see how many. It becomes a guessing game. Who's going to make the move to get aggressive? And at some point, Colleen may say, "You're going to guard it. I'll guard it again and make sure we score here." But I think Colleen's going to. We'll see Colleen peel off the next 2 or 3 guards at least before Quebec may have to make the decision then to come in and bump their own stone back onto the button. Certainly, I think we'll see at least one more guard from Quebec after this one gets peeled out.
Annie LeMay with a high center
I
guard.
like the same thing, yep.
And once again, Team Canada will go after the peel.
Good. Nice girl. Experiences. The only way they're stealing is if we leave that guard there. So it's a good call.
Non, faut que ça cœur. Ok, elle va curler, je pense. Et où?
3, 2, 3, 2.
Non, 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 non.
2 or 3, tight
Yes,
guard.
tight guard. It's coming in a little bit deeper than what they expected.
Yep. Non, non, ok, non, on est touché.
It's fine though. Yeah.
Ok.
Guard reestablished as this Quebec team continues to show its grit and pursuit
Like
here
now. Do you want to try and double them off?
Team Canada.
No. There, the peel.
And the
I like the
Colleen
peel rather
Jones
than
ranked
over there.
very aware of what this
Come down
Quebec
top,
team is capable of.
It's time to talk about the options for Team Canada.
And I don't know what you think, Joan, but I think anything but peeling the guard is going to open themselves up to a good chance for Quebec to steal here.
She does have a lovely bump up. I think the peel. Might as well go with that theory, eh?
So one more time appealing and then abort it. Thing is, it's
And
pretty
why do you not
tough
like
to
the
get
double?
shot over here.
because
I
of
don't
the
want to
fear
risk
factor?
it. Yeah, I don't want to risk it. You know, Marianne, even now,
No,
see,
it's fine.
if she ever goes, no, I'm just letting you know, even if she goes bang, bang, if Kim ever does that, bang out, which is really,
And you know what
it's too
else?
possible.
And you know
Straight
what else?
peel or
Coming in, it's really
But
you
gotta
have
be
to
so
set up the
deep,
double.
right,
Your,
and
yeah.
I don't know that
Straight
you're
peel.
supposed to-
Yeah.
Stop it.
Well thought out.
Turn to, Kim, I think the
Make sure
outturn.
you're deep, I suppose.
No, the other thing is to
That
guard
intern's
here,
moving a lot on the
and come around, you know, on
Kim,
contact.
we'll
Let
go
her
the
draw
outturn. The
foot for
intern's
two.
moving a lot.
Okay.
In my way of thinking, coming into the house was not an
Have a
option.
little left.
It was either peel or take your chances on guarding your own shot stone.
And I'm sure Quebec would be happy to see them throw the guard. You know, this is
Yeah, they'd have to make a great shot.
Peel's the call.
Absolutely.
Guys, whoa, whoa.
But they went through the options and why.
Just clean.
It's a good exchange.
Yeah, communication continues to be one of the hallmarks of this team.
And it's what
it's-
separates the very good teams from, you know, even Quebec's team you talk about, they communicate very well also, and it's what separates teams that are here at the Scott from, you know, the A flight club teams, the teams that have been close to getting here for many years.
And it's the way they communicate as well. And I think, again, aided by Ken Bagnall in terms of how you say what's on your mind, when you let it go, and who's going to make the final decision. They have to come to an agreement as to how that's all going to work. And they do it very well.
Let's go, Carol.
Roll off, give me a double. That's sweet.
And some of the Team Canada husbands and their wives.
Dave Delon, Captain Canada.
And Mike Kelly in the background on the right.
Dave's become a fixture at these events as the Colleen Jones team has been as well, and very recognizable.
Call him Captain Canada for obvious reasons.
Yes, he paints the town red.
And everything else he can find.
Oh, this is
Ooh la la.
Looking for a straight tap.
little
and,
tap and it's
Séparez-les, séparez-les.
Split their own stones there.
Okay, Carol.
So how does this change the complexion?
Well, now Colleen has a chance to lie too, I think, and it's
the best that Quebec is going to do in this given situation. Kim Kelly's going to hit this one, leave a double for Quebec to hit the double, and then maybe lie two and force Colleen to force to 1 point.
Not curling, whoa.
The steal is going out the window. Forcing to 1
At all. Get over.
is still viable.
Okay. It's all right, Kim.
So I think
Kim
it's
Kelly will hit and roll out.
Yeah, decision now for Quebec is whether or not we hit the. I think you have to hit it at this stage. You can't risk giving up a deuce.
No.
So hit it and hope to force Colleen to a single point.
So she wants to hit and roll away so that there is no double, so that Colleen can blank this end.
Last rock in the ninth for the phys ed teacher from Lévis, Quebec.
c'est bon.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Aye! Aye! The read! Hurry, aye!
Will get the takeout and roll to the edge of the 4-foot, slightly behind her own stone.
And leaves a standard double for Colleen Jones.
C'est correct. Si on blank pas, là.
Saying if she blanks, and we'll take our chances again. They're still going to have to have the same situation. We're going to have to steal 2 ends in a row.
C'est juste un peu ça. Puis je devais être en neuf parce que Caro a crié tout de suite.
High side. Yeah. Just want to overcurl it a bit.
Ben non, c'est correct.
Middle of the rock, Nance. Whoa, whoa. Just go back a bit.
Looks great.
The out-turn hit for Colleen Jones, her bread and butter over the years.
Yep. 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 Hard.
Last stone here in the 9th for Colleen Jones and Team Canada. Or sorry, the first stone.
It's over curling.
She'll hit and roll.
It's a great opportunity for Team Canada to blank the end.
Gee, they look closer together than that.
Ouais, on va être en avant du bouton.
Light ici encore.
Ouais, si on roule, on va être en
Nice
avant
little
du
chance
bouton.
here for Quebec. They can hit and roll their shooter right into the top of the button here, where Colleen Jones would not be able to nose hit this and get shot rock. Force Colleen to now make hit and roll off this outside one into the button. So it'll be an open hit for Colleen to score, but it could be difficult if they roll into the right spot
On
here.
essaie de rouler une petite affaire en dedans.
OK.
This young Quebec rink continuing to put pressure
Un peu moins, Caro.
on Team Canada.
Oui, mais on était ici, là.
OK.
Wondering if she needed to adjust the broom. She did her first one, they were tighter to the center line, so she's leaving it where it was.
Yes, 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 yes.
Inside, right out of her hand.
Need to go hard just to hit a piece of it.
Marie Francis walked away.
It's really bending now. No, she'll flash. Just wicking the Team Canada stone and out of the house.
She knew as soon as she let that go.
And now a chance for 2 for Team Canada and control of this final.
A 3-point lead going into 10 is significantly different, and just because the free guard zone isn't enough now to generate 2 points.
And right away, Marie-France Larouche knew this was in trouble.
And from there, she got up off the ice and walked away before the rock hit the house.
So a huge miscue here in the 9th. Attempting to steal one, or at least force a blank end, and now Colleen Jones is set to score 2.
Golden opportunity here for Colleen. This is take full command going into 10.
Nice. Regular. Just clean. Whoa. Nice way. Clean only.
You love to hear that word clean. You know you've got a good one.
Clean. Great job, Colleen. Nice throw.
Nice
Colleen
shot.
Jones with the hammer. A takeout for 2. And the 3-time defending champions have a 3-point lead going to the 10th, where Larouche will have the hammer here in Red Deer.
The Canadian Curling Association appreciates, understands, and wishes to acknowledge the importance of local sponsorship to curling teams across Canada throughout the curling season. In an effort to recognize local corporate support of teams which have achieved the privilege of representing their province or territory at a Canadian Curling Championship, we are pleased to provide some deserving profile to their respective corporate supporter.
Our next stop on CBC's championship curling season, the Nokia Brier, the big one in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, will have the semi on Saturday, March 13th. And then Sunday, March 14th, prime time, the final from Sask Place in Saskatoon.
One end to go here in this Scott Tournament of Hearts final, and a heartbreaking moment for young Marie-France Larouche. This was the scene during the break as her coach and father, Camille Larouche, attempted to console her and talk to the team about what they need to do here, but I don't know if Marie-France was listening, because she has been devastated by that miss in 9, and now Team Canada with a stranglehold and a 3-point lead.
They were talking about just having to make all their shots here, and but you know, in reality, they do need some help from Colleen's team. They need an open miss. They're going to get one guard here in the free guard zone. Colleen will throw another one through, and then Colleen's just going to start peeling, and so they need a nose hit and a couple other misses in order to generate their 3 points.
If the theory being, if you make all 8 shots of yours perfectly, you need 2 misses from the opposition to get your 3 points. Is it possible? Absolutely possible. And that's the hope and the internal optimism that this young Quebec team needs to have as they enter this last end.
There's the first Quebec guard. And you can see Marie-France is still composing herself.
It's hard. I mean, I think she's feeling that she's let down her teammates, and that's really the hard thing to live with. I mean, I think she'll be able to get over it herself, but when you're on a team like this and you come so far, you hate giving it away with an open miss. But we need a miss on one of these peels for Quebec to have a chance to score their 3 points. Need the second guard out in play, but in the 4 rock free guard zone, this is the 4th rock at the end, and Marianne Arsenault will be asked to remove one of the 2 guards.
Quebec cracked the 4-ender in the 7th of the 3-4 page playoff against Manitoba.
And it's been an emotional roller coaster for this Quebec team. This is their first year, all 4 of them together. So they've exceeded expectations coming here and getting stronger and stronger as the week went on. And that tremendous win yesterday in the semifinal, a surprising win coming from behind. So quite a roller coaster that they've been on so far.
Yes, it appeared they were done in the 10th in the semifinal against Ontario's Sherry Madot, but they never quit.
Get it out of there.
It is a gritty team, and they were in hot pursuit right until that mistake in the 9th.
Almost had a mistake there from Team Canada. The rock rolled about 4 inches from the sideboards, or 6 inches from the sideboards. It's going to be very difficult to use for Quebec, but certainly was an effective enough peel from Marianne.
Good sweeping for Team Canada.
Annie LeMay has had a tremendous final, curling 89% this afternoon.
Shot, Annie.
The one nice thing for Quebec they can take out of this week is, there are 2 nice things actually, is their Olympic trial spot, and they'll be able to join Colleen Jones and her team at the Continental Cup next year, representing Canada in that event, representing North America in that event. But you know, Colleen's now starting to count rocks. 3-point lead. They know they're remove 4 more stones here, and they're going to have a chance to win. Here's a miss though.
Guard stays up. This Team Canada rink together 6 years.
Okay.
Already 4 championships, looking for their 5th together, but a record 4th straight. Colleen Jones looking for her 6th Scott title.
Well, double corner guard is the exact situation you need in order to score 3 points. See, Quebec will try to draw around behind one of the guards. Theoretically, Canada will peel it off. They'll draw around the other corner guard and to have a chance to lie 3 at some point in this end. But Colleen's going to be forced to make a little bit more difficult shot here if Quebec can make all their shots perfectly.
Oh, elle en a besoin. Elle en a besoin.
Need to go for line.
And they get it to the rings. Oh, maybe.
It's wide open though. Even though it's on.
Still have two corner guards. Did not remove the guard from play.
Regular? Yep. 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 Hurry. Hurry. Hurry, hurry. Right up. Never leave it. Hurry hard. Hurry.
Another nose. It's getting a little messier than Colleen would have liked, I think, here in 10, but still Quebec needs to make a nice come around here. They need to make a really good come around in order to have a chance to score 3.
Well, Quebec can't make any more mistakes.
Did we want to leave that?
Nice throw. No.
They need to make their shots.
What? Go, Kello. Yes, la ligne.
La ligne est belle.
OK,
Il y a de la place.
correct. Et
La ligne
correct.
est belle.
Hein?
La
Yes.
ligne est belle.
Oh,
Wow,
non,
wow, wow,
non,
wow,
non,
wow,
finalement, elle reste large. Non, il va. Non,
Wow.
And they guard by a good foot.
Yep. Mais faut la caresse en maison.
Ouais, faut arrêter.
Just don't want to sweep it through. They're saying.
Yeah.
Regular? Yeah.
Quebec beginning to run out of rocks here.
See a good 3/4 of that stone at the back 12.
This veteran Team Canada rink has never shown a shudder of non-confidence. They've been strong. They've communicated well all day.
Got to go to get this by.
Just passed.
Very
They'll
well
remove
swept.
the Quebec stone and roll out.
And now the danger really is gone for Team Canada. They need a really very bad break. So if, again, Carol can manage to bury this stone perfectly, Colleen will peel the guard off, and then she'll have an open hit on her last one to win this game.
You don't even have to risk it.
Beginning to sense victory.
Oh, Dan. Oh. Ouvre ta curl. OK, il va.
Wow, faut qu'elle curl.
Ta curl. On le point beau.
Carol Gagneau's last stone here in the 10th.
Yep.
This is finishing nicely.
Yes.
The back of the 8-foot and behind cover.
Very well done.
Bien jugé, les filles.
You see Colleen is ignoring it and going up and immediately peeling the guard.
She doesn't want to take the chance if she goes for shot stone at the back.
Wait for a second.
She wants to take a look and see if she can see shot stone and end the game right now. If she goes for the one in the back of the house and just feathers this
You got
top
nothing
red
at the back
stone,
one.
that would be a huge mistake. So you need to
this way so that we don't jam on that yellow.
Sure.
remove one or the other to ensure an open hit for the victory.
You might need one of those, eh? We would. Yeah, you're kind of handicapped without one of those, eh?
Marie-France Larouche, the 23-year-old skip. Gallant in competition this afternoon, but the look of defeat written on her face now. As Colleen Jones throws her first stone here in 10.
Hard. Great job, Colleen.
Good throw.
Girl.
And all Quebec can do now is hope for an open an open hit. I think.
Nice throw. Thank you.
Just listen to the crowd sensing that this is the last stone being thrown by Marie-France.
And a roar of appreciation going up for the young Quebec skip. Crestfallen after her mistake in 9.
Very hard to throw, I think, for her at this stage.
Un peu plus.
Colleen Jones and her Mayflower curling sisterhood sensing an historic moment.
La ligne est belle. La ligne est belle. C'est large, il y a de la place.
Non, c'est correct. L'important, c'est qu'on soit dans la maison. Alors, laissez-la là si on lui donne deux choix.
Nice way to finish the week for Mary France, but she'll be thinking about that hit in 9 for a little while.
C'est beau, Marie.
Colleen Jones now with her last rock. And what must be running through her mind? And Mary France is emotional. But what a hard-fought effort here against this juggernaut from Nova Scotia. The Blue Nosers awaiting the moment as Colleen leaves the hack.
Yep, clean. Yep, yep, all the way. All the way down, girls. All the way down.
And with this stone, let history record a milestone in women's curling. Colleen Jones and Team Canada with an unprecedented 4th consecutive Scott title. For family and friends across the country, it is a moment worth noting.
You guys are our Continental Cup partners.
And a tremendous effort from the young Quebec team in its first ever Scott final. But this Canadian rink wearing the maple leaf, and as I mentioned earlier, the target on its back 4 years in a row. There is nobody in the land better.
Lots of luck at the Continental Cup and the Olympic trials. Thank you very much. What a good luck in the world. Thank you. We'll see you next year. You guys are great.
Team Canada victorious in Red Deer for the 4th year in a row to vanquish Vera Pezer of Saskatchewan. The Scott Tournament of Hearts, live on CBC. Brought to you by Scott Paper Limited, supporting women's curling across Canada.
Make it 4 in a row for Colleen Jones and her crew. They sail out of Nova Scotia to win over Quebec in the final of the Scott Tournament of Hearts in Red Deer, Alberta. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome for the record-breaking 4th consecutive time the Scott Tournament of Hearts champions, Team Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Don Coyote, Executive Vice President of Scott Paper Limited, to say a few words on behalf of Scott Paper.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Scott Paper, our parent company Kruger, and our more than 15,000 employees around the world, I would like to congratulate Team Canada and wish you luck as you go on the upcoming World Champion in Sweden. I would also like to congratulate the Canadian Curling Association on a very successful event. Our thanks to the city and county of Red Deer for their wonderful hospitality and a very enthusiastic host committee. And of course, let's not forget the 700 volunteers. Thanks also to all of you, the animated fan here in the NMAX Centrium, and to the hundreds of thousands of people watching on television. And of course, our stars, the curler. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
We will now ask Dawn to present the championship trophy to the 2004 Scott Tournament of Hearts champions from the Mayflower Curling Club in Halifax, Nova Scotia, to Coach Ken Bagnall, alternate Mary Sue Radford, lead Nancy Delahunt, second Marianne Arsenault, third Kim Kelly, and to the skip who has won 6 times, Colleen Jones. How do you like the trophy?
I really like the trophy.
I tell you what, you have done so much in terms of championship curling, along with this crew who's been with you so much of the way. First of all, can you please express your thanks to them and what they mean to you?
Thanks for reminding me, because sometimes I forget them. They're an awesome team. They play so hard. They work so hard all season. It's not just coming here and working. It's all through the season. We're all totally committed to each other, support each other, and I think we each play our positions really well. And it's great to be curling with your 3 other best friends. And Mary Sue Radford's been terrific at 5th, and our coach we couldn't do without, Ken Bagnall.
What's really interesting, Colleen, as you mention those people and what they mean to you, is that you all wear the big maple leaf on your back, and it becomes in many ways a target. But it's also an honor, I know, for you. And how much has it meant to be the champion year after year?
Well, we've never looked at wearing the Canadian maple leaf as a target. We are so proud to wear our maple leaf. We are proud. There is no... As Nancy always says, there's no can't in Canada, it's can. And we are so proud to be able to, especially in this incredible field, to come out on top. And as I said to Marie-France Larouche, she will eventually win this championship 10 times. And I think when you're old enough to be their mothers, it's nice that they let the old gals win just one more time before they come and kick our butt. So that was really nice too. But I also just want to congratulate Sherry Madaw, all the teams, of course, but Sherry Madaw and her teams. And Sherry, it was a rough go in the end, but you guys are great, great champions, and you guys will win this event too one day as well.
Colleen, congratulations, many thanks to you, and good luck to you and Team Canada at the World Championships in Sweden.
And thank you, Red Deer. This was a ball. I think you outdid the Briar big time. It's the Scott Rocks.
There you go. Colleen Jones and Team Canada rock the house in Red Deer, a 4th consecutive Scott title. We're back to the West in a moment. 4 brave hearts from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Colleen Jones and her Team Canada teammates set a record in Red Deer. We're back to wrap in a moment. Up next for us, the Nokia Brier, Saturday, March 13th, the semi-Sunday, March 14th, the final in prime time from Sask Place in Saskatoon. Well, Marie-France Larouche gives way. Colleen Jones does it again. 4 straight for curling's Captain Canada. For all of us, thanks for watching, and so long from Red Deer, Alberta.